A lone train cuts through the quiet of the night, its wheels clattering rhythmically. Machida Aikido, age 24, lets out a long, soul-crushing sigh of utter exhaustion. Slumped in his seat, he reflects on 33 straight days of relentless work. He recalls the endless abuse of corporate life, clinging to a single, shining hope. He daydreams of escaping the city and refreshing his spirit with a camping trip. But back on the train, the weight of his fatigue is too much to bear. His eyelids grow heavy as he thinks of finally getting home to rest. His consciousness fades, and he drifts away into a deep, dreamless sleep. He awakens with a sudden jolt, his eyes snapping open in alarm. Scrambling to the door, he panics, realizing he has overslept his stop. The train doors hiss shut, leaving him standing alone on a strange platform. He is utterly alone in the unnerving darkness, a chilling silence in the air. He looks up at the station sign, which reads Zaragi, a name he's never heard. Confused, he wonders if he somehow boarded the wrong train line. He discovers the station is completely unmanned, the ticket gate long abandoned. Trying to rationalize, he pulls out his phone to check his location. His hope dies as the screen displays a single, crushing message, out of service area. With no timetable to guide him, he ventures out from the station into the night. He finds himself standing at the edge of a vast, impenetrable forest. 2 hours later, he collapses to his knees, completely and hopelessly lost. He looks up suddenly, realizing something is profoundly and deeply wrong. In the oppressive darkness, he spots a single, distant point of light. It's the entrance to a tunnel, and he decides he must investigate. He steps into the damp, rough-hewn tunnel, using his phone for light. A strange, rhythmic sound echoes from deep within the passage. He realizes with a shock that it's the impossible sound of ocean waves. A blinding light erupts from the tunnel's end, engulfing him completely. The world dissolves into a maelstrom of light and sound as he's thrown forward. He pushes himself up from the ground, his mind reeling in disbelief. He now stands on a cliff, overlooking a vast ocean under a bright daytime sky. He looks down in shock to see his business suit has been replaced by outdoor gear. Spinning around, he discovers that the tunnel he just exited has vanished. He pinches his cheek hard, the sharp pain confirming this is terrifyingly real. This is no dream. He is stranded in a strange and impossible new reality. A soft rustling sound from nearby rocks alerts him that he is not alone. He spins around, startled, and calls out into the seemingly empty landscape. His eyes catch on a strange sight, a perfectly formed, swirling pink drill of hair. A breathtakingly beautiful young woman in an ornate gown steps into view. He is stunned into silence, captivated by her otherworldly beauty. She approaches with gentle concern, asking if he is all right. Snapped from his stupor, he bows deeply, apologizing profusely for staring. She smiles kindly, telling him not to worry and that his reaction is understandable. She explains her ship was wrecked in a storm, asking if he was also aboard. He realizes with a jolt that she, too, is a castaway on this strange shore. He tries to explain his own bizarre journey, mentioning the mysterious tunnel. The words sound insane even to him, and he trails off, flustered. She realizes with a small gasp that they have not even introduced themselves. With perfect poise, she introduces herself as Olivia, the daughter of a marquis. He introduces himself as Machida Aikido, still assuming her title is part and act. She finds his name unfamiliar and is confused when he says he's from Japan. She apologizes for her ignorance, and he is touched by her earnest kindness. He cuts to the chase, asking if she has any idea where they are. She explains she was traveling to the Legman Kingdom to marry a prince. The words marquis, kingdom, and prince finally shatter his denial. As she laughs about their shared predicament, the horrifying truth crashes down on him. He stares into the distance, the realization hitting him. He's in another world. His mind immediately races, wondering where the usual fantasy tropes are. He wails in despair, lamenting that no goddess appeared to grant him cheat skills. Olivia calmly tells him to settle down so they can search for other survivors. He latches onto a familiar idea, asking if things like jobs and skills exist. She confirms that they do, explaining her own job is a physical type holy knight. He is shocked that such a delicate-looking young woman has a body-strengthening class. She tells him it is a simple matter to check one's own status. Though doubtful, he is desperate enough to try, concentrating on the words status open. A translucent blue screen materializes in the air directly in front of his face. In bold letters, the screen displays his new and very strange job, camper. He stares in confusion, wondering if camper can even be considered a real job. He examines his status page, noting his unique skill and 5 starting points. He discovers a skill tree with abilities like basic physical strength up. Tapping another tab, he finds an item exchange for camping equipment. This incredible feature allows him to trade his points for physical items. He's ecstatic to find a virtual store filled with all his dream camping gear. He sobers quickly, realizing he must spend his 5 precious points wisely. Olivia snaps him out of his reverie, asking what his newfound job is. With a bright, confident smile, he proudly announces that he is a camper. Olivia is puzzled, having never heard of such a job in her life. He explains that camping is all about enjoying nature and cooking outdoors. As he describes relaxing by a fire, she becomes enchanted by the elegant idea. He sheepishly admits that all his knowledge comes from watching videos online. He feels his job is humble, but she insists that he shouldn't belittle it. Her smile turns unnervingly intense as she declares he will become a great man. He is intimidated by her powerful smile, feeling an immense pressure to succeed. She asks about his skills, suggesting he should tell the prince all about them. The conversation reminds him that he hasn't yet spent any of his points. Olivia wisely notes that how one allocates points is a serious, life-shaping decision. He realizes his unique skill will grant him 4 new points every single day. Deciding to act, he invests 1 point in basic physical strength up to aid their search. Their search for survivors takes them deep into a forest of towering trees. They carefully navigate the thick undergrowth and the tangled roots on the forest floor. After hours of searching, the vast forest has yielded no signs of other people. As Olivia's stomach rumbles, she admits that she is becoming incredibly thirsty. Seeing her signature drill curls begin to droop, he declares he has a solution. He confidently opens his status screen, navigating to the item exchange menu. With a flash of light, a large plastic water jug materializes at his feet. It's a massive 20-liter water tank, complete with a convenient spigot. He proudly shows her the spigot, proclaiming this is the power of a camper. Olivia is overjoyed, thanking him profusely for the miraculous gift of fresh water. Overcome with thirst, she eagerly prepares to drink directly from a container. She pauses, a hint of embarrassment on her face, and asks if he has a cup. Akito is stunned into silence, realizing his plan had one very simple flaw. Akito thoughtfully considers the need for cups, but knows food is a much bigger issue. Unaccustomed to such a situation, Olivia shyly asks if she may drink directly. With a turn of the spigot, a thick, gurgling stream of water pours out. She gasps at the sight of the precious water, amazed by this new experience. After taking too large a gulp, Olivia chokes violently, much to Akito's alarm. Mortified, she pleads for him to forget her display, while he awkwardly reassures her. Akito mentally kicks himself, wishing he had spent a point on a proper camping cup. Now recovered, Olivia looks at him with renewed wonder, marveling at his incredible skill. Akito clarifies that he exchanged points for the item. He hasn't learned storage skills yet. Olivia leans in close, explaining the skill is incredibly rare, 1 in 30,000. Completely stunned by this revelation, Akito stammers in disbelief at the skill's rarity. He excitedly tells her the item exchange offers much more than just water. He proudly displays a holographic menu of food and tools available for exchange. Olivia is frozen in shock, staring blankly, leaving Akito to wonder what's wrong. She finally whispers in awe about the camper's amazing, unheard-of power. Akito is moved, reflecting that it has been a long time since he's been praised. He smiles, feeling his seemingly useless job might actually be a blessing in disguise. Full of new motivation, he takes her hands and proposes they work together. With a gentle, warm smile, Olivia looks at him and asks if he'll be her friend. Akito beams, readily agreeing and asking her to call him by his first name. They formally shake hands, sealing their new friendship in the sun-dappled clearing. As the sun begins to dip below the horizon, Olivia notes that night is approaching. Akito decides they will make camp in the clearing, a new concept for Olivia. Sensing her fear of sleeping outdoors, he confidently announces he will build a campfire. Her fear vanishes, replaced by star-eyed excitement. She's thrilled to live like a traveler. When he suggests gathering wood for the fire, Olivia eagerly volunteers for the task. A great cloud of dust erupts from the woods as Olivia works with surprising gusto. Olivia calls out his name from the forest, and he turns to see her progress. She proudly emerges carrying a massive log, leaving Akito completely stunned. As she effortlessly hoists the log, he stammers that it's magnificent but too large. He explains they need smaller pieces for kindling, and she thoughtfully considers this. Her face lights up with a brilliant smile as she exclaims that she understands. With a cheerful cry, she shatters the entire log into perfect firewood with one chop. Akito stares in disbelief, shocked that she broke the massive log with her bare hands. She calmly explains it's a basic Holy Knight skill she calls barehanded blade. As she hums happily, he wonders if all noble women in this world are this strong. He shakes his head with a flustered smile, deciding he doesn't really mind her power. A heavy, rustling sound suddenly emanates from the nearby undergrowth. Akito's eyes widen in alarm as a sudden sense of dread washes over him. A monstrous devil rat lunges from the shadows, causing Akito to cry out in terror. Olivia calmly identifies the creature as a devil rat, as Akito shouts, "A monster?" She steps in front of him, warning that even low-level monsters can be deadly. She gathers holy energy in her hands, chanting a powerful incantation to smite the beast. With eyes ablaze with divine light, she commands the creature to the land of the dead. Akito watches in awe, anticipating a spectacular display of incredible holy magic. The spell fizzles pathetically, splattering harmlessly on the ground before the monster. Akito is completely dumbfounded, his mind struggling to process the anticlimactic failure. Olivia bows and apologizes profusely for her failed magical attempt. She explains that the simple branch she used as a catalyst shattered from the power. She blames her own inexperience, but he quickly reassures her that it is all right. Akito explains to a listening Olivia that they need smaller kindling to start the fire. Her eyes sparkle with sudden, profound understanding and deep admiration. She praises his camper knowledge, calling him far superior to a novice holy knight. Akito's expression sobers as he looks into the woods, considering the reality of monsters. He stands alone in the vast forest, realizing this is truly a world of sword and magic. He glances nervously at the monster, deciding he needs to acquire a weapon soon. He looks at the large pile of perfectly chopped wood, pondering how to light it. With 3 points left, he confidently tells Olivia to leave the fire starting to him. He triumphantly materializes a 100 yen lighter for 1 point, leaving him with 2. A tiny, chibi Olivia watches, assuming the simple plastic lighter is a magic item. He asks Olivia to add more of the smaller branches, and she readily agrees to help. She enthusiastically adds more wood to the pile, her drill curls bouncing with effort. With a simple click, the lighter produces a steady, reliable flame to light the kindling. The fire roars to life, and they both cheer in a moment of shared triumph. Akito is overcome with a profound and satisfying sense of accomplishment. Olivia nervously tugs his sleeve, her expression suddenly flustered and shy. She explains her betrothal to the prince, admitting she was overcome by the moment. They sit awkwardly apart, and Akito wonders why he feels so flustered by her words. As night falls, he opens his status screen to prepare for potential dangers. He knows Olivia can't stay on guard all night and plans for their mutual safety. He knows they need food, but their survival through the night is the top priority. He must use his last points to ensure their safety before it is too late. They sit together by the fire, watching the warm, dancing flames in the twilight. Olivia softly calls his name, her gentle voice getting his full attention. With a beautiful smile, she tells him that, thanks to him, today was surprisingly fun. Her simple, heartfelt words strike him deeply, his eyes widening in surprise. She credits him entirely for her happiness, causing a slight blush to grace his cheeks. He reflects on the day's unbelievable events, so different from his monotonous old life. His gaze is distant as he stares into the crackling campfire, lost in his thoughts. Embers float up from the fire, the only light in the encroaching darkness of the forest. He quietly admits to himself that, against all odds, he also had a lot of fun. He turns to her with a bright, sincere smile, agreeing that it was a fun day. They share a genuine, happy smile across the warmth of the fire. His status screen suddenly pings, unexpectedly awarding him 2 bonus points. Determined to protect this fragile piece, he finds the perfect skill to use. He stands up abruptly, and a curious Olivia looks up at him, questioning. He selects a new skill to create a protective, monster-repelling shield around their camp. Declaring this their official campsite, he channels magical energy into the ground. A brilliant flash of light erupts and spreads out from his hand in a wide circle. He stands tall, resolved to enjoy this new life, as Olivia watches in admiration. Within a protective dome of light, Akito plans their search for supplies for tomorrow. In the darkness beyond their shield, pairs of glowing predatory eyes are watching. More eyes appear in the rustling bushes, their safety until morning still uncertain. Akito reflects on being suddenly transported to this strange, uninhabited island. His given job is camper, and his current goal is simply to survive the night. His deep thoughts are interrupted by a loud, rumbling growl from his stomach. He clutches his stomach with a pained grimace, realizing he is absolutely starving. He recalls his 33-day work marathon and realizes why he is so intensely hungry. He resolves to use his points first thing tomorrow to solve their food crisis. His thoughts turn to Olivia, certain that she must be just as hungry as he is. Olivia's worried voice cuts through the night as she calls out to Akito. She points to their campfire, noting how the flames have begun to shrink. Akito agrees, his face etched with concern over the fire possibly going out. An expression of pure terror crosses Olivia's face at the thought of darkness. He sees her trembling violently and realizes she must be afraid of the dark. She flusteredly insists that anyone would be scared in such a creepy forest. Akito offers a warm, reassuring smile, telling her that everything will be all right. His kind expression renders her speechless, a faint blush dusting her cheeks. He patiently explains that a weak fire just needs small twigs and air. He asks her to help by placing some kindling near the glowing embers. Her delicate hands carefully add small sticks to the base of the fire. With a great whoosh, the campfire roars back to life, bright and strong. Olivia gasps in delight at the large flames, as Akito declares their success. She praises his amazing camper skills, asking if the fire can get even bigger. She playfully tosses powder in the flames, declaring bonfires to be profound. Laughing brightly, she wipes a tear from her eye, blaming it on the smoke. Akito watches her, filled with relief to see that she seems okay now. He gently suggests that she must be tired and that they should get some rest. Olivia turns to him, her playful demeanor replaced by a serious expression. She formally declares that as a prince's fiancée, she must stand guard. Akito is taken aback by her sudden formality, asking her to wait a moment. Striking a dramatic pose, she insists that she cannot be complacent now. He internally reflects on how cute she is when her noble facade slips. He shouts earnestly, pleading with her to believe he has no improper thoughts. She apologizes for doubting a friend, while he quickly waves off her concerns. With a relieved smile, she calls him respectable, making him feel a bit guilty. He gathers a large pile of soft grass to make a comfortable bed for her. They lie down on their separate makeshift beds, warmed by the crackling fire. A soft giggle from Olivia catches his attention, and he looks over curiously. He asks what's so funny, and she replies that the situation is just so strange. She muses on the delinquent feeling of going without dinner or even a bath. With a radiant smile, she declares that this is her first truly free night. Her heartfelt words about freedom resonate deeply with him as he listens. Akito realizes with a start that this is his first truly free night, too. He turns his gaze upward, and his eyes widen at the incredible sight above. He is completely mesmerized by the breathtaking, star-filled night sky. He reflects on what a profound luxury it is to have this moment to himself. A new day dawns as bright shafts of sunlight pierce the forest canopy. Akito sits up on his bed of leaves, stretching and yawning in the morning air. He stretches his arms wide, thinking how good the fresh air feels while camping. His first order of business is to check his points, summoning his status screen. He smiles, pleased to see his gift of the heavens has given him 4 points. He decides to save his points and use the food gacha after Olivia wakes. Next, he turns his attention to their water supply in the large container. He gives the tank a little pat, confirming that it is still completely full. As he examines the water spigot, Olivia's soft voice calls out his name. She sits up, rubbing the sleep from her eyes and wishing him a good morning. Akito is momentarily stunned, seeing her for the first time without her drill curls. She shyly asks him not to stare, so he quickly turns his back to her. She thanks him for refilling the water tank, though he hadn't actually done it. He announces that once she has finished her preparations, he will make breakfast. He considers his skill tree, noting he can finally learn camp food. He happily imagines all the delicious camp meals he could cook with ingredients. He then realizes they have no ingredients and must prioritize food they can eat now. Olivia announces that she is ready, her hair now perfectly styled once more. She strikes a pose, looking completely refreshed and sparkling, much to his surprise. He claps his hands together, impressed by her speedy and complete recovery. A loud rumble comes from Olivia, which she tries to pass off as a cough. He decides they must eat immediately and summons his status screen to use the gacha. He selects the food gacha, hoping for something that doesn't require cooking. For the cost of 1 point, a small cooler box materializes between them. With great anticipation, both he and Olivia lean in to see what's inside. The box contains 2 perfect convenience store-style onigiri, or rice balls. They sit down to eat, with Akito happily remarking that they look delicious. Olivia holds one up to her face, completely baffled, asking if it is food. She tries to bite into it through the plastic wrapper before Akito stops her. He carefully demonstrates the complex process of unwrapping the rice ball. She watches his hands with wide-eyed fascination, finally understanding how it works. With their food finally unwrapped, they prepare to take their first bites. Olivia takes a delicate bite, her first taste of this strange new meal. Akito also takes a large bite, his eyes widening with immediate delight. They look at each other in amazement, both exclaiming how delicious it is. He is moved, realizing he'd never appreciated how good a simple onigiri could be. He's glad she enjoys the tuna mayo, noting the seaweed is perfectly crisp. They finish their meal, and Akito thinks that 1 rice ball wasn't quite enough. Olivia shyly asks if they can have onigiri again, and he smiles, glad she liked it. With their hunger sated, Akito decides it's time to start their day's activities. He tells her their first objective is to go to the beach to create a signal. A tall column of smoke rises from their fire on the beach. Olivia looks at the smoke, confused by the term signal fire he used. He explains it might help a passing ship notice them, which she finds brilliant. Akito lays out their goals: find people, secure food, and explore the inland. He adds that they will need a larger water source for bathing and laundry. He privately thinks about how much he wants a bath after 2 long days. They venture into the forest, but their path is blocked by thick vegetation. As Akito wonders how to cut through, Olivia confidently tells him to leave it to her. She unleashes her feigned skill, carving a path with a vortex of wind. He is amazed by her power, while she calls it a simple pleasure for a lady. She cheerfully proclaims a lady's pleasure is a pleasure for all and marches on. Her elegant boot steps firmly onto the newly cleared forest floor. After finding nothing, Akito asks if she can hear any sounds like water. Olivia agrees and decides to use her hearing enhancement skill to check. She stands perfectly still, concentrating as she focuses her magically enhanced senses. Her ear twitches as she listens intently for any sound in the dense forest. She excitedly announces that she can hear the distinct sound of flowing water nearby. They immediately rush through the undergrowth, following the direction of the sound. They emerge from the trees to discover a small, clear stream flowing past. Akito looks at the stream, understanding that this was the source of the sound. He excitedly points out that this small river must lead somewhere important. They begin to follow the stream, with Akito warning her to watch her step. The deep forest feels ominous, and Akito recalls the monster from before. He tells Olivia they must stay alert, and she readily agrees. They venture into a clearing where Akito notices something peculiar up ahead. The perfectly cut stumps are a clear sign that someone has been here. Olivia notices the stream has been blocked by carefully placed logs. Peeking over a rise, Olivia spots an open area just ahead. Staring into the clearing, they are both rendered completely speechless. They discover a fairy tale village of small houses among giant mushrooms. Olivia thinks they are fairy houses. Akito notes their small size. She excitedly recalls reading about gnome houses, though she's never seen one. Akito deduces that the residents of these houses cut the trees. The sound of a small door creaking open breaks the silence. His gaze sharpens, realizing they must remain on their guard. He calls out to Olivia as a figure begins to emerge. To their astonishment, a talking cat in clothes steps outside. The cat speaks, leaving Akito to wonder why it's saying his line. The small, talking feline calmly strolls through the mushroom grove. He questions if the standing, talking creature is actually a monster. The small cat turns back to face them with a determined look. It looks just like a cat, yet it acts entirely different. The feline turns the tables, calling them the strange intruders here. Another cat emerges, telling the agitated Tama to settle down. The second cat, Butchie, calmly states that the newcomers are human. The cats confirm their species, and Akito notes that there's another one. Akito figures they can communicate and offers a friendly hello. Tama is overjoyed, having never seen a human up close before. Butchie explains their trade with humans, piquing Akito's curiosity. The news of a monthly ship fills them both with shock and hope. A smile of relief spreads across Akito's face at the possibility of rescue. Olivia smiles, confident that they can now reach their destination. Tama and Butchie wonder if they've brought delicious human food. He explains their unfortunate situation as castaways from a shipwreck. Butchie and Tama listen with sorrow, understanding their hardship. He feels relieved, sensing that these cats are kind and helpful. He inquires about the island's name, hoping to get his bearings. They introduce themselves as Butchie and Tama of the Minayan tribe. They reveal the island is for sacred beasts, shocking Akito. Butchie explains that the human ship left just a few days ago. Akito thanks him, realizing a rescue ship won't come anytime soon. He becomes determined to use his camping skills to ensure their survival. His first priority is securing food, so he asks for their help. Butchie explains they fish, forage, and trade mine stones for food. The cats clarify that humans call the valuable stones magic stones. The cats add that the caves also hold rare and delicious food. His expression turns serious as he warns of terrible cave monsters. The word monsters shocks him, but he understands the danger. Butchie says he will show them where fruit grows in abundance. Akito and Olivia follow their new guides through the whimsical village. The sound of their footsteps echoes as they travel the path. They walk together, relieved to have a clear path and new knowledge. The Minayan excitedly tell them about the nearby Blue Falls. Olivia is completely charmed by how kind and fluffy the cats are. Akito mentions that the ship just left, so it'll be a while. Olivia worries that if she doesn't return, her family will be ruined. She worries the prince will assume she fled their engagement. Olivia stands firm, unwilling to let her honor be questioned. Akito watches her, a thoughtful and concerned expression on his face. The thought crosses his mind that she's not keen on marrying. The roar of a waterfall suddenly fills the air around them. Akito exclaims that they've found the beautiful Blue Falls. His enthusiastic declaration about washing up shocks Olivia. She asks in disbelief if he plans to bathe here. He confirms it. The thought of bathing in the open leaves her blushing and stammering. He gently explains that staying clean is important for their health. She understands his point, but remains visibly uncomfortable with the idea. She leans close, saying she trusts him as Prince Nissel's fiancé. Her expression turns terrifying as she threatens him with self-mutilation. Terrified, Akito promises not to look, blaming her mother's teachings. He suddenly has a solution and accesses his camper abilities. A towel set, complete with razors and toothbrushes, appears. She marvels at the convenience of his camper class abilities. He clarifies that his items are limited only to camping gear. He gives her privacy, promising to wait for her signal. With a splash, Olivia steps into the cool, clear water. Her hand gently touches the surface of the pool's cool water. The experience is completely new and unexpected for the noblewoman. She finds the sensation incredible, while Akito waits patiently downstream. He waits patiently for her, enjoying the quiet moment. A content smile crosses his face, happy she is feeling refreshed. His mind wanders, comically pondering the nature of her drill-like hair. A funny thought bubble shows her wringing her hair dry. He chuckles, dismissing the silly thought from his rational mind. A rustling sound precedes Olivia calling his name. He turns to her, saying it's now his turn to bathe. With her hair down, Olivia announces she will hunt while he bathes. Akito is momentarily stunned by her appearance with her hair down. He turns away, blushing as he agrees to her plan. She cheerfully confirms her plan to hunt for their dinner. She feels her strength is back and wants to pull her weight. He tries to reassure her that she has already been a great help. With fiery determination, she insists on providing meat for dinner. He agrees to her plan, deciding to gather firewood after his bath. She agrees happily, and they part ways with a smile. As she waves goodbye, he wonders if she can actually hunt. He leaves his belongings on the shore before entering the water. The cool water rushes over him as he finally washes up. A wide smile spreads across his face as he enjoys the bath. His peaceful bath is interrupted by a sharp noise from the foliage. Fear grips him as he realizes he is completely vulnerable. The stark reality hits. Alone, he is completely defenseless. While soaking in the pool, Akito considers the need for combat skills. He sighs, realizing a proper weapon costs more points than he has. A sudden rustling in the bushes nearby puts him on high alert. He decides that securing food is the top priority for now. Drying his hair, he idly wonders if Olivia has ever done laundry. He recalls her noble status and worries about her family back home. He acknowledges how much Olivia has helped him since his arrival. He resolves to do anything to ease her anxieties before a ship comes. Then again, he has no idea how he himself will ever get home. Shaking off his worries, he decides to focus on finding the fruit tree. He knows he must gather food and firewood before darkness falls. Pushing through the undergrowth, he He is sure this is the right area. He finds himself standing before a single, absolutely colossal tree. Its branches are laden with what look like perfectly ripe mangoes. He stares up, wondering how on earth he is supposed to get them. After a moment's thought, he concludes that climbing is impossible. He checks his status screen, hoping to find a useful tool. A sudden, sharp squawk from the branches above makes him flinch. He glances over his shoulder, wondering if he was just insulted. The aggressive sound was undeniably directed straight at him. He looks up to see two large, bandana-wearing birds staring him down. He is utterly baffled by the existence of these strange creatures. One of the birds puffs out its feathered chest, readying a cry. It lets out a piercing squawk that sounds exactly like Zako. He can't believe it. The bird just called him a weakling. The bird continues its tirade, threatening to poop on his head. Akito is horrified that the creature can talk, and so rudely. The birds mock him, calling him a weakling for not being able to climb. He grits his teeth, imagining the smug birds eating all the fruit. He decides to change tactics, putting on his most charming smile. He asks them to share, but the bird eyes him suspiciously. He promises to repay them someday, though he has nothing now. The birds exchange unimpressed glances, clearly not buying it. One smirks, saying they might consider it if he begs them. Akito's face falls. He realizes their personalities are just awful. He decides there's only one way to deal with such bullies. The best course of action is to simply ignore them completely. He turns his back, feigning indifference as the birds get agitated. They fly off, their parting insults of Zako echoing in the air. They shout for him to go ahead and starve for all they care. Dejected, he figures he'll have to use the food gacha instead. A sudden voice from the woods makes him jump in surprise. Butchie the cat appears, asking if he came for mangoes. Overjoyed and relieved, Akito cries out his new friend's name. He explains his frustrating encounter with the foul-mouthed birds. Butchie calmly identifies them as the Albert tribe of sacred beasts. He confirms they are liars with particularly nasty personalities. Akito sheepishly admits that he is just a terrible tree climber. With a weary sigh, Butchie says that it can't be helped then. The cat easily scales the massive trunk as Akito cheers him on. Butchie returns with a cloth bundle filled to the brim with mangoes. Akito thanks him profusely, promising he will repay this kindness. Butchie yawns, saying he'd like to eat some matagai as thanks. When Butchie describes the clam, Akito realizes it's a razor clam. He promises to get them for Butchie, telling him not to wait up. With a new mission, he resolves to head straight for the sea. He'll drop the mangoes at camp and go to the beach immediately. The sound of waves crashing on the shore grows louder. He walks out onto the wide, sandy expanse of the beach. He quickly spots the small, telltale holes in the wet sand. He remembers seeing on TV how to catch them using salt. He clenches his fist, knowing that first, he needs to get salt. He could buy salt with his last points, but he hesitates. He decides against the easy route, choosing a different item. With a flash, he spends his last 2 points on a metal pot. He holds it aloft, declaring his plan to make salt from the sea. He builds a makeshift stone stove, just like in science class. He knows 2 liters of seawater should yield 60 grams of salt, but the damp wood billows with a thick, choking cloud of smoke. He coughs violently, his eyes watering from the acrid fumes. Wiping his stinging eyes, he wishes he had a fire-starting tool. He realizes he needs more kindling, but the task is exhausting. He knows that at this rate, the process will take a long time. He slumps to his knees, feeling like he has utterly failed. He can't keep relying on Butchie to solve all his problems. But a flicker of determination returns to his tired eyes. He stands up, resolute in his desire to repay his friend's kindness. He works tirelessly, running for wood and nursing the weak flames. He is absolutely determined to succeed in making the salt himself. He will not give up on the promise he made to his friend. At long last, the water in the pot begins to thicken. He cheers in triumph, holding up his small but successful creation. He takes a tiny taste. It's salty and it's delicious. Utterly exhausted, He collapses onto the sand to catch his breath. He reflects on the deep satisfaction of making something by hand. Watching the sunset, he thinks Olivia should be returning soon. She appears at the edge of the clearing, looking completely defeated. He is shocked by her miserable and utterly disheveled appearance. He rushes to her side, alarmed by her askew drill curls. She bows her head, apologizing profusely for failing in her hunt. He quickly tells her not to apologize, that it's okay. She explains she found a deer, but it was a sacred holy beast. He insists it's fine, telling her not to be so down on herself. He cheerfully presents the mangoes that Butchie helped him acquire. She thanks him weakly, noting how perfectly ripe the fruit looks. He begins to peel one, explaining that she might not be used to it. He takes a huge, satisfying bite of the succulent, golden fruit. His face lights up as he declares it the best mango he's ever had. Olivia, however, remains despondent, staring blankly at her own mango. He leans in close, gently urging her to try a bite of his. Olivia takes a single cautious bite of the golden mango fruit. Her eyes widen in pure delight as she whispers that it's delicious. Seated by the fire, she turns to Akito and thanks him sincerely. Akito notices she still seems down and hasn't regained her usual spirit. He chews thoughtfully, determined to find a way to cheer her up. He resolves to gather lots of matagai clams for her tomorrow. A single, ominous drop of rain lands in the dust beside them. Akito feels a droplet on his cheek and looks up, murmuring rain. In an instant, the sky opens and a torrential downpour soaks them. He asks if Olivia is all right as she exclaims about the painful squall. With a loud, final hiss, their precious campfire is extinguished. Akito tells her to wait, promising to get something to block the rain. He frantically remembers he has 1 point left to spend. He summons a blue tarp, declaring it will protect them from a storm. He struggles to drive a makeshift pole into the soft, muddy ground. As he raises the tarp, he realizes their fire is now completely gone. With the last of the light gone, the oppressive darkness feels suffocating. Suddenly, Olivia grabs his shirt from behind, her grip tight with fear. He turns, his face a mask of surprise and concern in the gloom. She presses herself against his back, seeking refuge from an unseen terror. He asks what's wrong as he feels her entire body trembling uncontrollably. He holds her under the flimsy shelter, trying to shield her from the storm. He wonders what is happening, utterly confused by her intense reaction. He looks down at her, realizing something is terribly, deeply wrong. He calls her name again, his voice filled with worry. He feels her hand on his side and is shocked by her violent shaking. She whispers that it's dark now, that the precious fire is gone. The horrifying realization dawns on him. She is terrified of the dark. He understands her fear is abnormal and urges her into the shelter. He calls her name, trying to reassure her that everything is okay. He pulls her under the tarp, promising he will stay right beside her. He worries as time passes, but her violent trembling doesn't stop. He sees her covering her face, still shaking uncontrollably in the dark. He watches over her, his expression filled with helpless concern. He feels utterly useless, wishing he could do something to ease her pain. Suddenly, a strange warmth floods his body, startling him. He wonders what this new power is that's welling up inside him. He realizes he has leveled up, and his points have been replenished. His status screen confirms the level up and his new point total. He gently tells the terrified Olivia that everything will be okay now. He immediately spends 2 points to materialize a solar-powered lantern. He apologizes for the delay and presents the warm, glowing light to her. Olivia looks up, her eyes wide with shock and relief. He tells her she can finally rest without fear of the dark. Tears of profound gratitude well in her eyes as she looks at him. He kneels beside her, offering the light that saved her from her terror. The storm passes, leaving a bright, clear sky in its wake. The next morning, the forest is clean and fresh after the rain. Akito stretches, feeling refreshed and ready for the new day. He declares that the sun is out and it's going to be a great day. He recalls how Olivia finally calmed down and slept after he got the lantern. He realizes she must have a deep trauma connected to the darkness. He decides not to pry, resolving to wait until she tells him herself. His only wish is to see her smiling while she's on this island. As he plans to use his points, a new alert pings on his screen. He has unlocked a skill point roulette, a special level-up bonus. He learns he gets one spin for every 2 days of camping. With a determined expression, he presses the start button. The wheel spins as he silently hopes for a high number of points. With an excited yell, he commands the spinning wheel to stop. It lands on 19, and he cheers, his total points now at 24. He immediately decides to acquire the camp food skill. A wave of new knowledge flows into him as he unlocks the ability. He triumphantly unlocks professional butchering, becoming an expert chef. He plans to unlock the rest of the tree later to prepare Olivia's game. He decides to get breakfast ready for Olivia while she rests. He hopes his preparations will make her happy and feel safe. Olivia sleeps soundly, curled up peacefully under the tarp. Akito has already rebuilt the campfire, its flames crackling warmly. Olivia awakens, deeply embarrassed, and apologizes for her behavior. Akito turns from the fire and wishes her a good morning. He tells her not to worry and asks if she is feeling better. He proudly presents a brand new tent and tarp set costing 9 points. He explains the special light-blocking tarp and invites her to build it. She is moved, realizing he spent so many points just for her. He offers her breakfast, consisting of mangoes and a new gacha item. The gacha has provided a box of instant clam chowder cup soup. He also shows off a full outdoor cookware set that costs 3 points. Olivia watches, confused, as he pours the strange powder into bowls. He explains the process as he pours boiling water from the new kettle. He tells her to stir it well, remarking on its wonderful aroma. She takes a careful, tentative sip of the hot, savory soup. Her eyes widen as she whispers that it is truly delicious. She closes her eyes, savoring the warm and deeply comforting flavor. Akito smiles, relieved and happy to see her enjoying the meal. Revitalized, Olivia declares it's time for them to assemble the tent. Akito agrees, delighted to see her usual energetic self return. He patiently shows her how to tie the ropes, a first for her. She is thrilled by the novelty of it, finding the experience fresh. She recalls how her life as a noblewoman forbade such simple tasks. Akito realizes her life was far more restrictive than he imagined. Together, they finish pitching the tent, and he declares it complete. Olivia is in awe, deeply touched by building something with her own hands. Akito looks at her with a fond and gentle expression. He then invites her to go clam digging with him at the beach. They arrive at the shore, the waves lapping gently against the sand. Akito kneels down, explaining they must first find the small holes. He demonstrates how to pour the salt he made into the burrows. A razor clam shoots out of the sand, and he exclaims in success. He fumbles to catch it, startled by its surprising speed. Akito triumphantly holds up a razor clam, planning a thank you gift for his friends. He turns to Olivia, whose eyes are wide with excitement, encouraging her to try. Olivia succeeds instantly, joyfully exclaiming that clam digging is the most fun she's ever had. She dashes across the beach with boundless energy, determined to catch even more clams. Their fun is paused as Olivia discovers their precious, handmade salt supply is completely gone. Akito worries their small catch isn't enough to properly thank Butchie and Tama. Olivia suddenly turns away from him, her demeanor shifting from playful to intensely serious. If there's no salt, I'll use my hands, she declares, unleashing a powerful wind blast. Akito is stunned as clams rain from the sky, a new technique she discovered. They leave the beach, their mission unexpectedly and overwhelmingly successful, heading for the woods. Their cooking pot is now filled to the brim with their miraculous, wind-blasted catch. Olivia is overjoyed by their massive haul, which Akito agrees is a perfect gift. Akito explains the next step, and Olivia offers to go ahead to the Minayan village. Alone now, he confidently decides to use his special skill to speed up the process. In less than a minute, the skill finishes the job, leaving Akito amazed at its power. While he waits in the forest, a familiar voice suddenly calls out his name. Butchie and Tama appear, overjoyed at the news of the fresh razor clams. He proudly presents the pots, much to the delight of his very hungry friends. With a humble laugh, Akito admits that Olivia was the one who caught most of them. As a gift in return, Butchie offers a rare and precious block of butter. Akito playfully suggests that Olivia should be the one to cook their feast this time. She confesses her inexperience, but Akito reassures her that it's a simple task. Her face a mask of nervous determination, Olivia agrees to take on the challenge. With a loud sizzle, the fresh razor clams begin to cook in a hot pan. Olivia panics at the sound, but Akito calmly reassures her she's doing fine. The delicious aroma fills the air as the Minayan watch with eager anticipation. She stares in wonder at the finished dish as Akito offers it to their friends. The Minayan waste no time, devouring the butter-sautéed clams with gusto. They immediately declare it the most delicious thing they have ever tasted. Olivia shyly asks for their verdict, and they joyfully confirm its deliciousness. Butchie offers his heartfelt thanks, his face a picture of pure culinary bliss. His simple, sincere praise leaves Olivia completely and utterly stunned into silence. Akito gently encourages her to try the dish she made with her own hands. With a sense of trepidation, she takes her very first bite of her own cooking. Her eyes widen as an explosion of flavor fills her mouth, surprising her completely. Overwhelmed by the taste and the moment, a single tear rolls down her cheek. Akito rushes to her side, his face etched with worry, asking what's wrong. She quickly wipes the tear away, reassuring him that she is perfectly all right. She explains with a watery smile that she is just shocked by her own success. Akito looks at her with a deep, understanding gaze, seeing the truth behind her words. He suggests that here, on this island, she can forget her duties and just be free. The concept is so foreign to her that she can only repeat his words in wonder. He promises her that her secrets are safe, as there is no one else to tell. He offers her a life of simple joys, free from the judgment of noble society. The realization washes over her. Here, she truly has permission to live for herself. He offers his unwavering support, promising to help her on this new journey of self-discovery. Her eyes fill with a profound sense of gratitude for his kindness and understanding. She looks at him, the weight of her old life beginning to lift from her shoulders. With a radiant, tearful smile, she thanks him, glad to have him by her side. Her heartfelt gratitude and brilliant smile make his heart skip a beat. He returns her smile, genuinely telling her that the pleasure is all his. They share a quiet moment, and he feels a deep joy just seeing her happy. The onlooking Minayan comically misinterpret the scene, thinking she's crying over the food. Olivia tries to correct their misunderstanding, but the cats remain hilariously unconvinced. Forgetting their tears, the cats simply ask her to cook for them again soon. Brimming with new confidence, Olivia eagerly promises to practice her newfound cooking skills. Watching her, Akito feels a sense of relief, confident that she is truly healing. She gives another brilliant smile, genuinely happy for the first time in a long while. The happy feast continues, with Akito serving up more delicious clams to their friends. From a distance, an unseen observer spots the flickering light of their small campfire. The sound of waves crashing on the shore echoes under the starry night sky. A strange sea lion, another sacred beast, observes them, murmuring the word humans. The next morning, Akito stretches, feeling refreshed after a peaceful night's sleep. He fondly recalls the previous night's clam party and the delicious food they all shared. He checks his status, realizing he has a total of 9 points to spend today. He decides to invest in a skill that will allow him to use camping tools as weapons. As he ponders his choices, Olivia approaches him with a cheerful good morning. She offers him a cup of hot tea, a simple, kind gesture to start the day. She notices his serious expression, and he explains his plan to learn how to fight. Olivia is excited by the idea, suggesting they could become a powerful combat team. He imagines them fighting side by side, agreeing it's a good plan for them. Their strategic planning is suddenly interrupted by their rumbling stomachs. They agree that breakfast is the first priority, though their options are currently limited. Akito realizes a single banana won't be enough, noting he's starting to lose weight. He decides to use the food gacha, which rewards them with a box of potatoes. Eager to help, Olivia volunteers to cook, ready to learn under his instruction. She proudly displays the potatoes she has washed, making them sparkle like gems. Finding them too hard to cut, she simply crushes them into perfect quarters with one hand. She cheerfully boils the potatoes, excited to see them soften over the fire. He adds the last of their salt and the butter they receive from Butchie. The simple but delicious dish of butter potatoes is now complete and ready to eat. A fork sinks effortlessly into the perfectly cooked, fluffy potato. They both take a bite and are delighted by the simple, savory flavor. They sit together in comfortable silence, enjoying their simple but satisfying breakfast. After finishing, Akito remarks that he's full, but still craving some protein. Fired up, Olivia declares with absolute certainty that she will provide meat for dinner. She dashes off into the woods as Akito wishes her luck, admiring her determination. Inspired by her, Akito resolves to do his part by trying to catch some fish. He arrives at the rocky coastline and quickly spots potential prey in the water. Crouching by a tide pool, he considers the challenge ahead of him. He sees that the shallow water is teeming with small crabs and tiny fish. His main concern is whether or not the creatures he sees are safe to eat. He checks his skill tree, prioritizing a skill to improve his own physical defenses first. A sudden presence makes him pause, and he looks around the empty shore. He sees the strange, vested sea lion, wondering if it's another sacred beast. He recalls his terrible experience with the Albert birds and hesitates to approach. Deciding to take a chance, he nervously raises his hand to greet the creature. The sea lion gives him a single, unimpressed glance before looking away. It then turns away completely, leaving Akito stunned and feeling utterly ignored. Despite its rudeness, Akito senses the creature is listening and tries to speak again. Akito politely introduces himself to a sea lion resting on a seaside rock. He asks if the small crabs and fish in the tide pools are edible. The sea lion grumpily replies that they can be eaten, but don't taste good. Akito thanks him, explaining their food supplies are low and he'd be grateful for anything. The sea lion grunts dismissively, seemingly uninterested in the human's plight. With a sudden splash, the sea lion dives into the water and disappears. Akito wonders if the creature dislikes humans, but decides to try fishing anyway. He begins his clumsy attempt to catch the tiny fish with his bare hands. Splashing around in the shallow water, he chases after the quick-moving creatures. After 10 minutes of effort, he proudly displays his meager catch of 4 fish. He's happy to have caught something, but realizes this method will take far too long. Thinking he'll need a proper fishing rod, a voice suddenly calls out an offer. A bundle of fish lands with a wet plop on the rocks, shocking Akito. He stares in disbelief at the magnificent catch of horse mackerel and sea bream. Spotting the sea lion on a distant rock, he realizes it was a gift. The sea lion slips back into the water and vanishes from sight. Akito cups his hand around his mouth and shouts the heartfelt, "Thank you." He reflects on how kind the creature was to go out of its way for him. He decides he must thank it properly, noting how fresh the fish are. Since the fish is so fresh, he decides to share it with his friends right away. He arrives back at the whimsical, polka-dotted mushroom houses of the Minayan. Butchie greets him warmly, happy to see him return to their village. Tama's nose twitches, smelling something wonderful as he asks Akito's purpose. Akito reveals the fish, and the cat's eyes turn to sparkling stars of joy. Butchie praises his fishing skill, but Akito admits he received it from another sacred beast. Butchie correctly identifies the creature as a member of the Ashika tribe. He explains that young Ashika wear scallop shells as they haven't found proper hats yet. A quick flashback shows the sea lion with its signature scallop shell hat. Akito asks about the Ashika, wondering if they hold a dislike for humans. Butchie explains that the Ashika are a tribe with a very complex nature. Confused, Akito asks what he means by complex. Butchie says they are shy but helpful, though they find it hard to make friends. They love grilled fish but are afraid of fire, creating a difficult paradox for them. Butchie mentions their surprisingly stiff shoulders, which puzzles Akito. Concluding his lesson, Butchie advises Akito to be kind to the Ashika. Back at his own camp, Akito prepares to cook the fish he received. He boils a pot of water as part of his preparation. A perfectly cleaned fish rests on a makeshift cutting board, ready for cooking. For one point, Akito summons a sharp Santoka knife to prepare the meal. He plans to grill the horse mackerel and make a soup with the sea bream. As he cooks over the fire, Olivia's voice calls out his name. Olivia returns from her hunt, looking dejected, but comments on the wonderful smell. Akito presents a perfectly grilled fish, hoping to cheer her up after her failure. They stand by the fire as he explains that he didn't catch the fish himself. He recounts the story of how the Ashika tribe gifted him the food. Olivia, fork in hand, is surprised to hear about his encounter. Akito admits he wants to befriend them, but worries he might scare them off. Olivia reassures him with surprising confidence that everything will be all right. With a radiant smile, she guarantees that someone like him can become their friend. Her unwavering faith in him sends a jolt straight to his heart. He thinks to himself how truly kind and wonderful Olivia is. Blushing, he thanks her and resolves to try again that afternoon. He is happy to befriend her, but worries it will make their parting more difficult. He thinks about how Olivia will have to leave when the next ship arrives. He sits alone on a log, contemplating the painful farewell that is to come. Watching the campfire, he knows the day of their separation isn't far away. He looks on with a sad but determined expression on his face. Olivia thanks him for the meal and resolves to continue trying her best at hunting. They wish each other luck before parting ways for their respective tasks. Akito walks through the woods, focused on staying safe and making the most of today. He decides to bring one of the grilled fish to the Ashika as a gift. He scans the coastline, looking for the familiar shape of the sea lion. He spots it on a distant rock and feels a wave of relief. He approaches slowly, but the skittish creature immediately rears up, ready to flee. He calls out in a panic, asking it to wait. He explains he brought a grilled fish to thank it for its earlier kindness. He apologizes for startling it and places the offering on a nearby rock. The sea lion seems to ask if he dislikes the fish, but Akito is confused. He wonders if it's feigning disinterest because it actually wants the fish. He places the bowl down, telling the creature how delicious it was. The sea lion slowly approaches the offering and sniffs it cautiously. It begins to eat as Akito watches from a safe distance with a gentle smile. Akito formally reintroduces himself and asks if the creature will tell him its name. The sea lion pauses for a moment before replying, "Toby." Akito's face lights up with a brilliant, happy smile, thanking Toby for sharing his name. Toby gives him a quick, shy glance before returning to his meal. The sea lion finishes the fish while looking out at the vast ocean. Akito reflects that Toby is a kind, sacred beast for helping him when he was in trouble. He resolves to find a way to properly repay Toby for his generosity. Suddenly, a massive, dark shape slices through the water towards them. A huge, shadowy form begins to rise from the depths of the sea. A colossal orca erupts from the water with a deafening splash and roar. Toby looks on with a nervous expression as the giant creature surfaces. Akito is thrown off his feet by the massive wave created by the orca. The powerful wave crashes over the rocks, completely drenching him in seawater. He looks up, sputtering, as a long strand of seaweed drapes over him. He asks Toby if he's all right, seeing the sea lion is also soaked. Toby shakes his head vigorously, sending water and seaweed flying. His precious scallop shell hat is tossed into the air by the motion. The shell tumbles through the air, falling back towards him. He quickly catches it with his flippers and places it back on his head. Two massive orcas surface, looking as though they are laughing mischievously. Akito thinks he can hear them laughing, an unsettling and ominous sound. Toby warns Akito to stand back, telling him that it's dangerous. Akito is utterly confused, asking what kind of prank this is. Toby admits that it's his fault because he's not a full-fledged adult. Akito is shocked and confused by this strange confession. An orca launches Toby high into the air as Akito screams out his name in horror. Toby crashes back into the turbulent sea with a tremendous splash. Akito waits alone on the shore as the waters calm, with Toby nowhere in sight. Akito stared out at the endless sea, calling out his friend's name. He sighed, figuring Toby wasn't likely to return for the rest of the day. The terrifying image of the giant orcas tossing Toby about replayed in his mind. He regretted not being able to properly thank his friend for the earlier warning. He also recalled how deeply troubled and dejected the young sea lion had seemed. Still, he decided to wait a little longer, just in case Toby reappeared. Sitting alone on the cliff, he felt that the world of the sea had its own troubles. Suddenly, a stream of bubbles broke the surface of the water nearby. A dark shape erupted from the ocean with a tremendous splash. It was Toby, being playfully chased and nudged by his two massive orca friends. Akito cried out in alarm, watching the chaotic scene unfold with wide eyes. The orcas playfully launched the small sea lion high into the air. Toby disappeared beneath the waves in a blur of motion and white water. With a final splash, the two giant orcas dove deep and vanished. The ocean's surface grew calm again, leaving no trace of the creatures. Akito stood on the shore, having searched the area to no avail. He then spotted a small, distant figure, wondering if it could be Toby. A sleek, dark shape suddenly darted from behind the nearby rocks. A monstrous, horned beast emerged, its jaws open in a terrifying snarl. Akito's eyes widened, his face frozen in a mask of pure shock and terror. The monster let out a deep, guttural growl, fixing its predatory gaze on him. He realized with a jolt of panic that Olivia was not with him. His mind raced, knowing he was completely unarmed and utterly defenseless. The beast dug its claws into the ground, preparing to launch its attack. It leaped through the air towards him, a blur of vicious intent. Akito threw himself sideways, the monster's fangs snapping beside his head. He scrambled backward across the rocks, narrowly dodging the attack. He recalled Olivia's warning that even weak monsters could be deadly. A close-up view of the beast's maw confirmed the danger of its sharp fangs. He now understood with chilling certainty that she was absolutely right. The creature gave chase, relentlessly pursuing him over the uneven terrain. Akito knew with growing dread that he would soon be caught. In a final desperate act, he screamed for a weapon and opened his status menu. The monster lunged forward, its jaws gaping wide for the final bite. At that exact moment, a gleaming axe materialized in Akito's hands. He swung the weapon in a wild, powerful arc, driven by pure instinct. The axe blade connected with a sickening crunch, biting deep into the beast. The weapon struck the ground as the monster's body began to dissolve. The creature let out a final, agonized shriek as it vanished completely. Akito stood panting heavily, wondering if he had truly defeated it. He collapsed to the ground, overcome with exhaustion and the relief of survival. He stared at his own trembling, gloved hand, still feeling the adrenaline. Sitting on the ground, axe in hand, he began to process what had happened. He thought of Olivia, who could defeat such monsters with casual ease. Clenching his fist, he resolved to ask her to train him to be stronger. Just then, a loud splash from the ocean caught his attention. Toby emerged from the waves, calling out Akito's name with a worried look. The young sea lion floated in the surf, his expression full of concern. Akito turned, surprised and relieved to see his friend had returned safely. He noticed a small dragonfly had landed gently on Toby's scallop shell hat. Overjoyed, Akito rushed to the water's edge, happy to see his friend again. Toby looked up, asking what it was that Akito had wanted to discuss. He climbed onto the rocks, his first question being if Akito was injured. Akito laughed warmly, admitting he was startled but was otherwise perfectly fine. Toby apologized, explaining he was too far away to help during the fight. Akito brushed it off, asking if Toby was okay after his ordeal. Toby confirmed he was fine and repeated his question about what Akito wanted. Akito's expression softened as he sincerely thanked Toby for the delicious fish. Toby looked away shyly, clearly touched by the genuine gratitude. After a quiet moment, he shyly brought up the topic of the fish. He admitted quietly that the grilled fish had been incredibly delicious. Akito was pleasantly surprised by the compliment, offering a simple thank you. He then broke into a wide, happy grin, telling Toby he was welcome. He asked if Toby would eat more if he brought some again. Akito then gently asked why Toby was being bullied for being a kid. Toby looked downcast, wondering why being young meant being treated so poorly. He began to explain that hats are incredibly important to the Ashika tribe. For his people, finding a hat in the ocean is a symbol of adulthood. His peers, who had found proper hats, teased him for his scallop shell. He explained that he swims more than anyone, yet still cannot find one. Because he is just a child, he feels he cannot say anything in his defense. He leaned his head against Akito's shoulder, overcome with sadness. Akito passionately insisted that Toby was trying his best and the bullies were wrong. Toby, moved by his words, promised to stand up for himself next time. He called Akito a strange human, much to Akito's confusion. The young sea lion let out a small, huffed laugh, his spirits clearly lifted. Akito realized how special hats were and wished there was something he could do. Suddenly, a brilliant idea struck him like a bolt of lightning. He asked Toby what kind of hat he wanted, suggesting a popular straw hat. With a determined look, Akito declared that he could help and opened his status menu. A beautiful straw hat materialized for 1 point, shocking the young sea lion. Akito offered the hat as a gift, a proper thank you for the fish. Toby stared at the hat, his eyes wide, asking if it was really for him. Akito confirmed that it was, and Toby asked if he could truly have it. With great care, Toby removed his familiar scallop shell with his flipper. He gently placed the new, dignified straw hat upon his head. Akito clapped his hands in delight, exclaiming that it suited him perfectly. Overcome with emotion, Toby held the brim of his new treasure and thanked Akito. Tears welled in his eyes as he repeated his heartfelt thanks. Akito smiled warmly, happy that his friend loved the gift so much. He said he hoped they could sit and talk like this again soon. The two friends sat together in comfortable silence, looking out at the ocean. They were a solitary pair on the rocky cliffs, their new bond forged. Unseen, the two Albert birds watched from a distance, deeply suspicious. The next morning, Akito returned to the campsite, his new axe in hand. He split a log for the fire with a single, clean, powerful swing. He marveled at how his skill gave him an intuitive understanding of the tool. He felt a surge of confidence, now that he finally had a real weapon. He reviewed his point usage, recalling he had spent them all the previous day. But with the dawn of a new day, he had leveled up once again. With a new day comes a new level up, and Akito is ready for it. Time to spin the roulette, he declares, hoping for a big point payout. Olivia emerges from the tent, wishing him a cheerful good morning. But her foot catches on a rock, sending her stumbling forward with a cry. She loses her balance completely, falling directly towards the surprised Akito. They land in a heap, her face just inches from his. "Are you all right?" she asks softly, as he stammers an apology. The reality of their position hits her, and her eyes go wide with shock. She scrambles off him, bowing and apologizing for her clumsiness. Amidst the chaos, Akito's screen shows he's won a jackpot, 36 points. I did it, he roars, ecstatic over his windfall of 41 total points. He thanks the bewildered Olivia, who has no idea how she helped. With his new wealth, Aikido decides to invest heavily in defensive skills. He acquires abilities like immunity improvement and foundations of recovery magic. Next, he summons a specialized knife for his professional butchering skill. Olivia watches with wide, curious eyes as he proudly shows off the blade. Seeing her interest, he decides it's time to focus on a hearty breakfast. He uses the food gacha twice, hoping for something special to celebrate. The first prize materializes, a platter of delicious-looking sandwiches and fries. Aikido beams, declaring it their lucky day as Olivia gasps in delight. The second item appears, a large tub. What is it? Olivia wonders. It's ice cream, Aikido announces, and Olivia's eyes sparkle with joy. She worries it will melt, but Aikido suggests they share with friends. Olivia remembers her ice magic, realizing she can keep the treat frozen. Aikido summons a cooler and a magic ice pack for her to charge. With their precious cargo, they head to the whimsical Minayan village. Butchie greets them warmly as they arrive with a large cooler box. The cats gather around, asking what treasures are inside the mysterious box. Aikido smiles, explaining he's brought a delicious treat for them to share. At the mention of food, the entire cat village emerges from the woods. He opens the cooler, revealing the tub of ice cream to the curious crowd. The cats stare at the white lump, unsure if it's even edible. Aikido offers the first taste to Butchie, the brave and respected leader. The entire village watches with bated breath as Butchie takes a nervous bite. For a moment, there is only silence, making Aikido and Olivia anxious. Then, Butchie lets out a thunderous roar of pure, unadulterated ecstasy. He praises Aikido, admitting he had completely underestimated his abilities. Olivia laughs as the Minayan erupt into a frenzy, demanding a taste. She happily begins scooping the delicious treat for the eager, chattering cats. Aikido watches her, warmed by her bright smile and infectious happiness. A grumpy Butchie tells him to stop staring and serve him his portion. The Minayan dig in with gusto, their faces alight with pure bliss. A close-up shows a cat savoring the cold, sweet flavor of the ice cream. The clearing is filled with cries of joy. They declare it's like heaven. They immediately ask for seconds, wanting to eat this wonderful food every day. The cats begin to deify Aikido, calling him a god for this miraculous gift. They decide to build a bronze statue in his honor, much to his horror. Olivia giggles, imagining a grand monument to Aikido, the ice cream god. Aikido quickly explains that ice cream is simply made from eggs and milk. Tama is shocked by this revelation, his jaw dropping in disbelief. Aikido says he can make more with goat's milk if they can find eggs. This sends the cats into a frenzy, determined to acquire eggs by any means. Aikido hopes they don't mean the sacred foul-mouthed Albert birds. Butchie clarifies there is another bird on the island they can hunt. Aikido is confused, wondering what other kind of bird could provide eggs. Butchie's expression turns deadly serious as he names their quarry, the rockbird. Aikido pales as Butchie describes the colossal, 12-meter-long monster. Butchie warns that anyone caught stealing its eggs will surely be killed. The Minayan don't care, cheering that they will risk anything for more ice cream. One even suggests they capture the giant beast, leaving Aikido speechless. Olivia's eyes light up, adding that the rockbird's meat is delicious. The cats erupt in cheers for Olivia, promising her a statue as well. A new quest is born. The great rockbird egg hunt begins now. Aikido sighs, realizing the simple gift has unleashed a powerful craving. He begins to strategize, thinking of what skills will be needed for the hunt. He spends 3 points to acquire the useful edibility judgment skill. He also invests 8 points in beginner's movement magic for quick escape. With their preparations complete, the small party is ready for their adventure. Aikido, Olivia, Butchie, and Thomas set off into the deep, dark forest. As they walk, Tama warns the others to be careful of the terrain. Butchie scoffs at the warning, declaring he is perfectly capable of watching his step. In that instant, he trips spectacularly over a thick, gnarled vine. He is flipped upside down, caught helplessly by his ankle in the leafy trap. Olivia and Tama cry out in concern, worried he might be injured. A sudden realization flashes across Akito's face as an idea strikes him. He steps forward confidently, telling the others that he will handle this. "Watch this," he says, drawing his knife with a new sense of purpose. Using professional butchering, he makes a few precise cuts, unraveling the vine. With the vine severed, Butchie begins to plummet towards the ground. He lets out a terrified shriek as he falls headfirst from the tree. Akito calls out in alarm as his friend tumbles through the air. But Olivia moves in a flash, catching the falling cat in her arms. The Minayan thank her profusely, relieved that Butchie is safe and sound. Olivia praises Akito's skill, but he explains it's an application of butchering. Their relief is cut short by a loud, familiar squawking from the trees. An angry voice accuses them of planning to eat the cute Minayan. Akito groans, recognizing the irritating voice of their feathered tormentors. The two Albert birds have returned, mocking the cats for their adorable appearance. Akito reassures the terrified Tama that he has no intention of eating him. The birds circle above, taunting them and calling them weaklings. Butchie notes that the sun is getting low, and they must hurry. Olivia agrees, and they turn to leave the obnoxious birds behind. They soon arrive at a steep, rocky cliffside, the rock birds' territory. Akito checks on Olivia as they begin the treacherous climb up the rocks. The Albert birds watch, annoyed that the adventurers are ignoring them. "We'll make it so you can't ignore us," one of them squawks. They unleash a furious barrage of fruit, pelting the climbers from above. Olivia cries out as the group is showered with the unexpected projectiles. Akito's edibility judgment skill activates, identifying the various fruits. He becomes enraged, shouting that they should never treat food so carelessly. Akito skillfully sorts the mountain of fruit as Olivia and the Minayan cats praise his amazing work. From a distance, the Albert birds watch, confused by this new, competent side of the human weakling. Akito suddenly freezes, a startling thought dawning on him as he looks toward the birds. A dangerous, calculating glint appears in his eye as he realizes the birds are a food source. A skill screen confirms his thought. The Albert birds are edible, much to their sudden horror. Screaming that they are about to be eaten, the terrified birds flee for their lives. Akito laughs at their ridiculously fast retreat, while Tama happily enjoys a well-earned banana. Olivia praises his wonderful and unexpected skill, and Akito admits he's surprised by its usefulness. Suddenly, the ground begins to tremble violently, catching Akito and Olivia completely by surprise. Akito looks up at the shaking mountain, wondering aloud if it's an earthquake. Butchie stares in horror, recognizing the danger and warning that something terrible is coming. A colossal rock bird emerges from the cliffside, returning to its nest as Butchie explains. The cliff face crumbles, sending a cascade of rocks and debris tumbling down. The ground shakes as more of the mountain gives way with a deafening crash. The massive creature lets out a powerful, echoing shriek that fills the entire area. Akito stares in disbelief at the creature's immense size, confirming it is a rock bird. As Akito watches in shock, a second rock bird emerges from the rubble behind the first. A third bird appears, its menacing eye glaring down at the intruders with pure fury. The three rock birds let out an aggressive, unified shriek, their rage now focused. A close-up reveals the burning, bloodshot rage in the creature's territorial eyes. Realizing the immense danger, Butchie yells for everyone to follow him to safety immediately. One of the massive birds dives from the sky, its powerful talons aimed at Tama. Tama cries out in fear as the bird's razor-sharp talons close in for the attack. Certain he's about to be eaten, Tama freezes until Butchie directs him to a crevice. Tama dives for cover just as the powerful talons slam into the ground beside him. Huddled together, the two cats breathe a sigh of relief, safe within the rocks. Above them, one of the rock birds continues to circle, searching for its prey. A heavy landing sends Akito sprawling, and Olivia cries out his name in alarm. She rushes to his side, asking if he's all right as he stammers about its incredible size. From his hiding spot, Butchie urgently tells Akito to retreat into the dense forest. Urged on by Butchie, Akito and Olivia make a desperate dash for the trees. They find safety among the trees, where Butchie explains the birds cannot follow them. Looking back, Butchie notes that facing 3 birds requires a well-thought-out strategy. Olivia admits she can only fight 1, a feat Akito finds incredibly impressive. Butchie advises against a direct attack, suggesting they wait for a chance to steal an egg. Olivia eagerly volunteers to fight for the meat, much to Akito's concerned amusement. Butchie agrees their priority is the egg, pondering how they might sneak past the birds. Tama notes a flaw in their plan. The humans are too large to hide effectively. Akito remembers his teleportation magic, offering a new escape route for 2 of them. Inspired, Butchie proudly declares that he has devised the perfect plan for their mission. Butchie gathers Akito close to whisper the first phase of his newly formed strategy. The 3 massive birds pace restlessly, their territorial instincts on high alert. One of the birds settles onto the large nest, diligently guarding its precious contents. The trio of stone birds remain clustered together, vigilantly protecting their nest. One bird takes to the sky, beginning a wide, sweeping patrol of its territory. On the ground, the remaining 2 birds scan their surroundings for any sign of trouble. A pair of oranges mysteriously rolls down the slope, catching the bird's attention. The giant birds stare at the rolling fruit, their expressions a mix of confusion and curiosity. Lured by curiosity, one of the birds steps away from the nest to investigate. From hiding, Butchie and Tama continue their orange barrage, successfully luring the bird. They send another orange rolling, drawing the massive creature even further from its nest. With the bird successfully distracted, Butchie whispers that the rest is up to Akito. Akito carefully peeks over a boulder, his eyes fixed on their unguarded prize. He spots 2 enormous, perfect eggs resting in the nest and realizes he's found them. Akito cautiously creeps toward the nest, moving as quietly as he possibly can. He slowly reaches out his gloved hand, his fingers just inches from the giant egg. With the egg in his arms, he smiles, thinking the hard part is now over. As he tries to lift it, his smile vanishes, replaced by a look of immense strain. The massive egg is far heavier than he expected, and he groans with the effort. Olivia appears and asks what's wrong. He explains its weight makes stealth impossible. Olivia offers to carry it using her skill, much to Akito's delighted surprise. Their clumsy attempt to move the egg causes the nest to rustle loudly. From above, the patrolling rock bird lets out an enraged shriek, alerted by the sound. They look up in panic, realizing with a jolt of fear that they've been discovered. Thinking fast, Akito pushes both of the enormous eggs into Olivia's arms. Akito shouts Olivia's name, his voice a sharp, urgent command in the sudden chaos. His face is set with grim determination as he prepares to face the consequences. He orders her to get down, turning to bravely face the descending bird alone. The rock bird lands with a thud, its massive form completely dwarfing Akito. Akito grits his teeth and plants his feet, bracing for the creature's imminent attack. He feels the crushing pressure of its presence, recalling the power of its claws. Clutching his axe, he remembers the shocking force of the creature's previous blow. Olivia calls out from behind him, insisting they need to create an opening. The massive bird lowers its head and begins its powerful, ground-shaking charge. Akito stands firm, prepared to sacrifice himself to protect his friends and the eggs. He declares with unwavering resolve that he will ensure everyone returns home safely. Olivia stares at him, her eyes filled with awe and concern for his safety. Butchie spots the second bird returning, realizing Akito's group is now in grave danger. Butchie initiates their escape plan, shouting that he and Tama are retreating now. Akito turns in shock, realizing his backup has just abandoned him to his fate. As the bird charges, Akito turns and urgently calls out Olivia's name. Olivia unleashes a powerful blast of wind, propelling herself and the eggs forward. Her magic creates the perfect opening, putting distance between them and the charging beast. Akito grabs her and desperately invokes his spell, Movement Magic, to the campsite. A blinding flash of white light erupts, engulfing them and the precious eggs. They vanish in an instant, leaving only a bewildered monster in their wake. They land in a heap back at their camp, Olivia looking around in a daze. Overjoyed, they celebrate their victory, with Olivia praising Akito's amazing feat. Akito humbly insists that their success was all thanks to her quick thinking. They awkwardly apologize for the closeness, before Akito remembers their feline friends. Olivia explains their backup plan, to meet at the Minayan village to confirm their safety. They arrive at the clearing filled with the Minayans' distinctive mushroom homes. Carrying an egg, Olivia voices her concern about whether their friends made it back. Akito remembers Butchie's secret plan with a growing sense of skepticism. They enter the village clearing, searching for any sign of their friends. Butchie and Tama appear, safe and sound, crying out in relief at seeing them. The entire village celebrates their safe return, gathering excitedly around the giant eggs. Akito smiles, asking Butchie to reveal the brilliant secret strategy he had mentioned. Butchie states his secret plan was simply to run, leaving Akito utterly baffled. Butchie explains their motivation was ice cream, a plan Akito finds hilariously anticlimactic. Akito uses 5 of his precious points to purchase a spherical ice cream maker. Tama and Butchie stare at the strange ball, wondering how it can make ice cream. The Minayan village helps mix the rock bird egg, goat's milk, and sugar. Akito asks Olivia if she would use her magic to chill the device's refrigerant. With a wide grin, Akito announces that now they just have to roll it. The entire cat village joyfully rolls the large, spherical device across the ground. Olivia watches the adorable scene, her heart completely captivated by their cuteness. The Minayan gather as Akito peeks inside, announcing that it's almost ready. With a flourish, he reveals a bowl of perfectly churned, creamy white ice cream. Butchie and Tama are in a state of pure ecstasy, declaring it's incredibly delicious. The Minayan want to build a statue in his honor, but Akito begs them not to. Olivia turns to Akito with shining eyes, sincerely thanking him for everything. He laughs it off, saying he was just flailing about to ensure their escape. Olivia firmly disagrees, insisting that his actions were incredibly cool. Akito is left flustered by her earnest praise, stammering his thanks. Olivia's mood shifts as she remembers, lamenting her failure to get any meat. Butchie asks if she truly wants meat, and Olivia confirms that she does. He then suggests they should go to the cave, a place full of delicious things. Olivia's interest is piqued, and she asks Butchie to tell her more. He describes a wondrous place filled with rare creatures and tasty morsels. A loud stomach rumble is heard, and Olivia notes everyone feels the same way. Akito points decisively, declaring their next adventure is to explore the cave. They soon arrive at the cave entrance, a dark maw in a rocky cliffside. Akito uses his axe to help him and Olivia climb the treacherous rocks. He spots the entrance, asking if this is the cave Butchie had described. They stand before the dark opening, confirming they have found the right place. Butchie points to a small cat statue, noting the 0 on its stomach. He explains the number shows the level of the strongest monster nearby. A 0, he concludes, means that the entrance is currently safe to enter. Akito figures they'll find meat deeper inside, where monsters might lurk. Olivia is fired up, determined to succeed in her hunt this time. She hesitates, realizing the cave will be dark, and she will need a light. Akito, ever prepared, presents her with a sturdy camping lantern. Their fingers brush for a moment as he hands the light to her. Olivia is flustered by the unexpected gesture, apologizing for no reason. She shyly asks if it would be all right for her to hold the lantern. Akito gives her a wide, warm smile and says of course it is. Olivia thanks him, clicking the lantern on with a soft, metallic sound. Holding the light high, she declares that they are ready for their adventure. Akito gazes at her, his expression filled with concern and admiration. He resolves to support her as she bravely faces her fear of the dark. Olivia suggests they proceed slowly, and Akito agrees that's a good idea. Together, they venture into the darkness, the lantern's glow pushing back the shadows. Just inside, another cat statue shows the danger level has risen to 1. Akito sees nothing for now, but Olivia urges them to press forward. Suddenly, a strange fluttering sound from above catches Akito's attention. A massive swarm of ghostly white moths descends upon them from the ceiling. Akito realizes it's not a monster, but an incredible number of insects. He flails his arms, but is completely overwhelmed by the sheer number of them. Olivia calls out to him, asking if he's all right amidst the fluttering chaos. The moths, drawn to the light, begin to completely cover the lantern. Olivia watches with alarm as the lantern's powerful glow begins to dim. With a cry of "Fanes," she tells the disgusting insects not to touch her. A powerful gust of wind rips through the cave, blasting the moths away. The swarm falls to the ground, and Olivia huffs about her body's sanctity. Akito then spots something growing on the cave wall, identifying them as mushrooms. His skill confirms they are edible and delicious cave mushrooms. He remembers Butchie mentioning these, his excitement growing at the lucky find. He immediately imagines them sautéed with bacon, his stomach rumbling in anticipation. As they venture deeper, Olivia notices something else in a dark alcove. She points out a strange plant, wondering aloud if it might be edible. Akito peers at the odd flora, curious about what it could possibly be. He tells her to wait a moment while he uses his skill to check it. The plant suddenly erupts, revealing itself to be a monstrous, fanged mouth. They recoil in shock as Akito screams that it's a monster. His eyes widen in terror as he takes in the creature's true form. A gigantic, armored centipede, larger than he could have imagined, towers over them. The monster lunges, its massive body slamming into the cave wall with force. Its sharp, menacing pincers click together just inches from Akito's face. Olivia asks what it is, and Akito shakily identifies it as a centipede. The beast rears back, its multiple legs scrabbling as it prepares to strike. In the ensuing chaos, the precious lantern is knocked from Olivia's grasp. Olivia's eyes widen in absolute horror as she sees the lantern falling. With a loud crash, their only source of light shatters on the stone floor. Akito yells for Olivia to get down as the world is plunged into darkness. He stands his ground, his axe held ready to face the unseen horror. The monster strikes, and Akito grunts, shocked by its incredible power. He struggles to hold the beast back, his small axe straining against its might. He realizes with a jolt of fear that its legs are dangerously sharp. The monster's fanged maw looms over him, a terrifying shape in the gloom. From the darkness, Olivia cries out his name in a panic-stricken voice. Fueled by adrenaline, Akito roars and prepares for a desperate counterattack. He swings his axe with every ounce of his strength, aiming for its head. The blade connects with a solid, sickening crack that echoes in the cave. The monster's armored head splits under the force of the powerful blow. Akito brings his axe down in a final, cleaving strike to finish it. The fatal blow lands, and the creature's form begins to disintegrate. The giant centipede dissolves into a cloud of black, ethereal particles. Akito stands panting, asking in disbelief if he actually managed to defeat it. Olivia, her voice shaky with relief, confirms that it seems he has. She tells him he was amazing, and he replies that he somehow managed it. A soft ping from his skill system catches his attention. The skill identifies the monster as a marvel giant centipede, edible with conditions. It adds that when boiled, it has the texture of shrimp and is delicious. Akito's face contorts in a mask of pure, unadulterated shock. Seeing his expression, Olivia worriedly asks him what's wrong. He explains that, according to his skill, the monster is apparently delicious. Olivia's face becomes a canvas of utter horror at the very thought. Akito immediately backpedals with a nervous laugh, agreeing with her reaction. He thinks to himself that eating it would require more courage than fighting it. Akito and Olivia share a laugh, trying to move past their fear. Akito's eyes widen as he notices a flicker from their precious lantern. Olivia watches with growing dread as the lantern's tiny flame begins to die. In the sudden, oppressive blackness, Akito realizes their only light is gone. "It's dark," Olivia cries out, doubling over as a wave of terror hits her. Akito rushes to her side, calling her name in alarm as she collapses. Her hands tremble uncontrollably, a clear sign of the panic seizing her mind. He places a gentle hand on her shoulder, trying to reassure her. Holding her close, he frantically wonders how to fix the broken lantern. Shaking in his arms, Olivia whispers a broken apology for her intense fear. He tells her not to apologize, his only concern being her violent trembling. He knows he must get her out of the cave before another monster appears. His eyes dart around the darkness, searching for any possible escape or solution. In the distance, he spots a faint, ethereal glow from deeper within the cave. He asks if she can walk, but she is too paralyzed by fear to respond. With quiet resolve, he decides there is only one thing to do. He swiftly scoops her into his arms, apologizing as he lifts her. He carries her through the darkness, moving towards the mysterious, distant light. They enter a breathtaking grotto, its walls covered in glowing crystals. Akito recognizes the luminous gems, realizing they're extremely valuable magic stones. He gently sets Olivia down, suggesting they can rest safely in the light. Overwhelmed and blushing, she can only stammer a quiet agreement. As she tries to stand on her own, she stumbles, and he catches her. He takes her hand gently, telling her to take her time. With a warm and genuine smile, he insists her safety is his priority. Olivia looks at him, her heart swelling with gratitude for his kindness. She squeezes his hand tightly, a silent thank you for his protection. A moment of quiet passes as they stand together in the glowing cavern. Akito picks up a crystal, remarking on the beauty of the magic stones. Olivia explains that these large stones are of the highest grade and value. He cheerfully insists that she should take as many of the stones as she wants. He tells her they can be a souvenir for when she finally returns home. She admits with a blush that they would be a great help to her family. Olivia playfully teases Akito, but he jokes that he won't share his mushrooms. She lets out a soft, happy laugh, agreeing to his silly terms. Akito watches her, a fond smile on his face, but his thoughts turn serious. He reflects on how the normally cheerful Olivia could be so utterly terrified. He realizes she must be carrying some kind of deep, unspoken trauma. Olivia looks up at him, her own expression becoming serious and vulnerable. She realizes that he is always thinking of her, always acting for her sake. With a surge of trust, she decides that he is someone she can confide in. She calls his name, and he turns to her with a questioning look. She asks him if he would be willing to listen to a story about her past. Akito's expression is calm and serious as he listens to her solemn request. They sit together in the grotto, ready for her to finally share her burden. The silent, sparkling crystals of the cave seem to listen in around them, surrounded by the gentle light. She prepares to reveal the source of her darkness. Akito understands now. He truly wants to know the reason for her fear. Olivia looks down, clutching a crystal, knowing the story is a painful one. He agrees to listen, even if the story is difficult for her to tell. With a gentle smile, He encourages her, saying he genuinely wants to know. Olivia smiles back, thanking him for his kindness and his patience with her. She takes a deep breath and begins explaining it happened about a year ago. The scene flashes back to a time when she was a captain of the Holy Knights. Her ornate armor and flowing cape marked her as a leader of great renown. Many of the knights under her command were completely infatuated with her. Other, more jealous knights saw her noble birth as an impassable barrier. They grumbled from afar, resentful of the attention she received. They complained that she was a world apart, a flower on a high peak. But one soldier whispers a rumor that her family situation is not so perfect. He reveals that the great house Half-Elman is secretly drowning in debt. Her loyal attendant, G, overhears the gossip and glares at the soldiers. The gossiping knights scatter in terror from the old retainer's furious stare. G stands alone, looking at a letter, his face etched with worry. A close-up reveals the deep lines of stress and sadness on his face. He presents the letter from her father, the Marquis, to a waiting Olivia. As Olivia reads the letter, her expression twists into one of pure shock. Seeing her reaction, G worriedly asks her what the matter is. He explains the devastating news. Another of their merchant ships has been lost. This loss, he says, was the final blow to their family's crumbling finances. He then reveals the shocking reason for her recall, to marry Prince Nissel. Olivia calmly explains that the marriage will clear her family's crushing debts. She gently reassures a tearful G, telling him not to worry for her. She closes her eyes, accepting her fate as a daughter of her noble house. Their solemn moment is shattered by a soldier bursting in with an urgent report. He cries out that a massive zombie outbreak has occurred in Nottingham. The number of undead is already over 300 and is still growing. Olivia recalls playing with the children of the Nottingham convent and orphanage. Her face a mask of grim resolve. She orders her knights to sortie immediately. She leads her 72 knights against the horde, knowing they must act quickly. They charge headlong into battle against the overwhelming tide of the undead. The grotesque horde is even larger than reported, a shambling sea of bodies. A soldier asks if they should wait for reinforcements, but Olivia refuses. She declares that they must stop the horde now to save anyone trapped inside. She entrusts the defensive line to her subordinate, who accepts the command. Aboard her horse, she unleashes her ultimate skill, the demon-slaying spear wave. A massive wave of holy energy obliterates a huge swath of the horde. Her soldiers cheer her incredible power as she orders them to find survivors. With the path now clear, she leads her knights into the silent church. Inside, the main hall is eerily empty, and she calls out for anyone there. She believes survivors must be hiding somewhere, praying they are still safe. G looks on with deep concern, sensing the heavy atmosphere of the church. She tells him to remain calm and be strong, no matter what they find. She reassures him with a confident smile, reminding him she is a holy knight. A soldier reports finding a door that has been locked from the inside. Olivia calls out, announcing that the holy knights have come to rescue them. Hearing only silence, she decides they have no choice but to break it down. With a single, powerful kick, she shatters the lock and forces the door open. Her knights cautiously peer into the dark room beyond the broken door. Huddled together in the darkness, they find the children of the orphanage. In the depths of a dark church, Olivia, in her knight's armor, smiles with relief, glad the children are safe. A little girl's voice calls out to her, asking if she remembers their promise to play together. The child's face suddenly twists into a horrifying grin, her teeth becoming sharp fangs. Now a zombie, the girl lets out a guttural growl, her hands curled into claws. A loyal knight named Boff leaps forward, shielding Olivia from the monstrous child's attack. Olivia's eyes are wide with shock and horror, unable to comprehend the sudden betrayal. A fleeting memory of the smiling, living girl contrasts sharply with her current undead form. The brave knight stands firm, his body a shield between his captain and the danger. Boff readies his spear, shouting at the creature that was once a little girl. Olivia screams for him to stop, unable to bear the thought of him harming the child. Her subordinate turns back, shocked that his captain would command him to stand down. He suddenly shouts a warning, having spotted a new threat emerging from the shadows behind her. A zombified nun lunges from the darkness, sinking its teeth deep into Boff's neck. In the sudden pitch black, warm blood splatters across Olivia's terrified, unseeing eyes. The gruesome sounds of tearing flesh and bone echo in the suffocating, absolute darkness. She explains that the tragedy at Nottingham resulted in the deaths of 7 of her subordinates. Her father tells her to forget the past and find her happiness in a new life. Prince Nissel appears with a charming smile, telling Olivia he has been eagerly waiting for her. He promises to support her family with his immense wealth, offering her a happy future. Olivia looks away, her eyes hollow, as she silently questions the true meaning of happiness. She felt that if she could be useful to others, it would be an honor. Akito listens intently as Olivia concludes her story, explaining how she ended up on the ship. She blames her own immaturity for what happened, thanking Akito for saving her so many times. Akito thanks her for sharing her story, but asks if the engagement is just for money. Olivia looks away, admitting with a pained expression that her situation is shameful. He presses her, his voice filled with concern, asking if this is what she truly wants. He gently grabs her shoulders, insisting that becoming a human sacrifice is simply wrong. Olivia defends the prince, saying he is a good man who extended a helping hand to her. She turns on Akito, angrily asking why he is being so cruel and spiteful. Her fierce defense catches Akito off guard, and he realizes he has overstepped. He apologizes for getting angry, admitting the reason for her marriage infuriated him. Olivia sighs, explaining that marriages among nobles are often like this, telling him not to worry. She hesitates for a moment, a flicker of doubt in her eyes, as she trails off. Akito looks at her with fierce sincerity, declaring he hates seeing her unhappy. His heartfelt words strike a chord, and she bows her head, deeply moved. She thanks him for his concern, but says she cannot betray the parents who raised her. Akito understands that pushing her any further would only cause her more pain. He backs down, promising not to speak of it again, and thanking her for her honesty. Olivia suddenly rallies, puffing out her chest, and declaring she has her brute strength to rely on. She flexes comically, saying her strength is her last resort against unreasonable situations. Her attempt to lighten the mood works, and Akito breaks into a wide, genuine smile. Seeing him happy, Olivia beams back, her own spirits visibly lifted. Akito pauses, a thought crossing his mind that he desperately wants to voice. He wants to ask her to forget everything and stay on the island with him. Olivia looks up at him, her head tilted in question at his sudden silence. He shakes off the thought, cheerfully suggesting they gather more of the valuable magic stones. A spark of hope ignites in Olivia's eyes. The island's resources could be the answer. She agrees enthusiastically, saying they should gather as much as they can carry. Akito thinks they should get plenty of bags from Butchie to hold their treasure. Olivia is fired up, declaring she'll gather treasure and hunt for meat all at once. Akito marvels at her resilience, a strength he never could have imagined. A low, unsettling scratching sound echoes from the deeper, darker parts of the cave. In the distance, a shadowy form looms, a dark and ominous presence in the cavern. The very walls of the cave seem to pulse with a dark, unseen energy. They finally spot their prize, a cluster of pale orbs growing on the cave wall. They have found a patch of cave mushrooms, safe and untouched by any monsters. Akito smiles, relieved that the giant centipede didn't destroy their precious food source. The mushroom's rich, earthy aroma is so enticing that their stomachs rumble in unison. Olivia is mortified by the sound, while Akito laughs, telling her not to worry. He suggests they cook the mushrooms outside the cave, admitting he's hungry too. From the shadows, A pair of glowing eyes watches them, clutching a magic stone. A sudden, sharp sound cuts through the air, and they both turn in alarm. A heavy footstep shakes the very ground beneath them, echoing through the chamber. A monstrous saber boar emerges from the darkness, its eyes glowing with malevolent rage. They both cry out in shock, recognizing the hulking beast as a powerful monster. The boar paws the ground, its massive body tense as it prepares to charge. Olivia shoves Akito behind her, declaring that this battle is hers to fight. Her eyes blaze with power as she invokes a skill to strengthen her body. With her sword held ready, she braces herself to meet the monster's thunderous charge. The boar's eyes narrow to slits as it barrels towards her with incredible force. The impact of steel against tusk creates a shower of sparks, shaking the cave. Olivia's sword shatters under the immense pressure, the boar's strength overwhelming her. Akito stares in disbelief, unable to process that Olivia has been overpowered. The boar slams its massive head into her, its raw power undeniable. She is thrown backward, sent flying by the sheer force of the blow. The massive beast thunders past her, its momentum carrying it across the cavern. She tells Akito the creature is too fast and strong, its tusks especially dangerous. Akito looks at the beast, his mind racing as he realizes how dire their situation is. He can't believe that even Olivia's incredible strength was not enough to stop it. A spark of hope ignites. He remembers his movement magic and prepares to escape. He focuses his will, intending to teleport them instantly back to their campsite. The spell begins to form, light gathering around them, but it suddenly fizzles out. They stare in shock as the magic dissipates, leaving them trapped and vulnerable. Akito is horrified, realizing with dawning terror that his magic will not activate. The boar turns, its eyes locking onto them as Olivia screams for Akito to run. Akito shoves her aside, planting his feet to face the charge with only his small axe. He grits his teeth against the impact, knowing the monster is far too powerful. He can't push it back. He yells for Olivia to run and save herself. Olivia watches in wide-eyed horror, her voice caught in her throat. Akito looks back at her, his face a mask of desperate, sacrificial resolve. He tells her again to run, prepared to give his life to ensure her escape. A tiny, furry voice suddenly yells a strange command. Close your eyes and mouths Naya. Confused but desperate, they obey, squeezing their eyes shut as instructed. A massive explosion erupts before them, filling the cavern with a blinding flash. Through the smoke, a small cat yells, Now Naya, as another lies on the ground stunned. Butchie and Tama have arrived, grabbing the dazed humans and telling them to follow. Butchie directs them to scramble up a high, rocky ledge to escape the enraged boar. He gives a relieved salute, saying it was a good thing they came to check. Akito thanks them profusely, his eyes still stinging from the powerful pepper bomb. Below, the saber boar sneezes violently, temporarily dazed and blinded by the Minion's special weapon. On a high ledge, Butchie says they must quickly devise a plan to escape. Akito worries that his movement magic failed, and Butchie blames the cave's magic stones. Butchie apologizes for forgetting to warn them, but Akito is just thankful for their help. Suddenly, a deafening crash echoes through the cavern, startling Akito and Olivia. The enraged saber boar tears at the cave wall as Butchie yells they are out of time. The boar tries to collapse their ledge, and Akito realizes the grave danger they are in. The group stands together as rock and debris rain down from the cavern ceiling. Akito insists they must find a weak point, while Butchie notes the boar only charges straight. With intense concentration, Akito focuses his unique skills, sweat beading on his forehead. He activates his abilities, desperately searching for a hint to the monster's weakness. He's found it. Akito knows he can strike if they can just create an opening. Olivia, hearing the plan, takes a deep breath and prepares herself for the fight. She tells Akito confidently that if he can make an opening, she will handle the rest. Akito watches on as Olivia prepares to act as the team's vital decoy. With Tama at her side, Olivia bravely distracts the monstrous saber boar. The boar, its fury focused, charges headlong toward the brave decoys. As the boar charges, Butchie furiously digs a deep trench into the cave floor. The boar pauses for a moment, confused but still overcome with rage. The clever trap is sprung, and the massive beast is momentarily stunned. A huge cloud of dust and rock explodes from the powerful impact. Butchie explains the shattered magic stones will create a flash, telling Akito to get ready. The trap worked perfectly, and Olivia calls out from the bottom of the trench. Butchie tells Olivia he is counting on her great strength, and she readily accepts the role. The saber boar's massive body trembles as it begins to recover from the fall. It lets out a furious snort, digging its hooves in to charge once more. The beast's hooves thunder against the stone as it rushes forward. At Butchie's signal, Olivia pulls a thick rope taut across the boar's path. The charging boar, unable to stop, runs directly into the rope trap. Butchie cheers as the beast is sent tumbling head over heels to the ground. The Minayan scream for Akito, telling him that the rest is now up to him. Without hesitation, Akito leaps from the high ledge toward the fallen monster. He shouts the name of his skill, professional butchering, as he descends. He brings his axe down in a powerful, precise arc toward the boar's weak point. The boar looks up, its eyes wide with a final moment of stunned surprise. The mighty saber boar is finally and truly defeated. Akito's skill analyzes the beast, detailing how to butcher it for the most delicious meat. The entire group cheers in absolute triumph, ecstatic about their hard-won feast. The massive body of the saber boar lies still on the cavern floor. Back at their campsite, Akito tends to a warm, crackling fire. The group eats together, all cheering in unison at how incredibly delicious the meat is. Olivia declares the meal is heavenly, and Akito agrees, as Tama tries to steal their portions. Butchie looks over at Akito, noticing his genuinely happy smile. Akito explains he is just so happy to be eating a delicious meal with everyone. He expresses his profound gratitude for all the help his new friends have given him. Olivia looks at Akito, her heart warmed by his sincere and heartfelt words. Butchie tries to act cool, but Tama playfully teases him for it. Butchie admits Akito is a handful but a reliable friend, which Tama says is just Butchie worrying. Akito smiles warmly, deeply touched to be considered their friend. The group enjoys a moment of light-hearted laughter around the campfire. Akito remembers the magic stones, mentioning that many were broken during the battle. Olivia holds up a handful of intact crystals, assuring him they still have plenty. She says she is filled with nothing but gratitude for her irreplaceable companions. Akito agrees, suggesting they should go back to the cave for more stones again soon. Butchie puffs out his chest, saying he'll help since Akito is helpless without him. Tama whispers to Butchie that he's the one who needs to be worried about. The Minayan's playful argument makes Akito and Olivia chuckle. Olivia covers her mouth, trying to suppress her delighted giggles. Akito asks if she's okay, and she reassures him before heading off to get some water. A sudden, sharp rustling from the nearby bushes puts everyone on alert. A shadowy figure peeks from behind a tree, announcing that he has found them. A wolf-like samurai emerges, identifying Olivia as his target. He notes her distinctive swirling, curly hair. Drawing his katana, he declares her to be the enemy of his master. The scene shows their peaceful camp, now the site of a new conflict. A close-up shows water being poured into a bowl. Olivia takes a long, refreshing drink. She lets out a soft sigh, feeling refreshed. Olivia calls out to Akito as he grills meat over the fire. Tama, his face a picture of pure joy, asks for a second helping. Akito advises Tama not to overeat, but Butchie says it's fine since the meat is so good. Tama wisely notes that the meat tastes even better because they all work together for it. Akito agrees to get another skewer for Butchie. The wolf samurai watches from the shadows, believing the Minayan are being deceived by a demon. Akito offers a skewer to Olivia, who seems to sense a presence nearby. The samurai vows that he will not be fooled and will punish the demon. Akito and the Minayan are completely shocked by the samurai's sudden appearance. The samurai leaps into the air, challenging them to a fight. As the samurai attacks, Akito screams Olivia's name in warning. Akito dives in front of Olivia, heroically blocking the katana with a frying pan. The sharp clang of steel hitting the cast iron pan echoes through the clearing. Olivia thanks Akito for saving her and asks if he's been hurt. Her expression becomes one of cold fury at the unprovoked attack on Akito. She unleashes her powerful Fane's wind magic, blasting the samurai backward. The wolf samurai is sent tumbling through the air by the force of the wind. He lands hard, completely stunned by her incredible power. Looking at her, his eyes turn to hearts as he is instantly captivated by her beauty. He snaps out of it, insisting she must be a fearsome oni in disguise. Butchie tries to intervene, telling the samurai that he has made a terrible mistake. Akito realizes they're all sacred beasts and hopes they can talk things out. The samurai grumbles about the indignity of being defeated by a mere frying pan. He growls that anyone who torments others is an enemy of his master. Akito brandishes a meat skewer, asking how he can possibly prove Olivia is not a demon. The samurai takes a bite, and his aggressive demeanor instantly vanishes. Olivia approaches with a sweet smile, suggesting they eat and talk things over calmly. The rich, savory juices of the meat have completely won him over. He agrees to her noble request, utterly charmed by her grace and the delicious food. The samurai bows deeply in apology, formally introducing himself as Wanyuman. Akito explains that the rumors of meat-eating oni were just a simple misunderstanding. Butchie sighs, remarking on Wanyuman's short temper and troublesome, impulsive nature. Wanyuman defensively replies that he was merely spending his time peacefully, just like the Minayan. Wanyuman, his eyes closed in shame, admits that he was completely in the wrong. He declares he will atone, even preparing for seppuku, until Olivia forgives his transgression. Akito silently holds out a skewer of grilled meat, offering it to the distressed samurai. Olivia, her face bright with joy, confirms that the food is absolutely delicious. Wanyuman, his mouth full, heartily agrees that the skewers Lady Olivia made are the best. With a cheerful laugh, Olivia clarifies that Akito actually helped her prepare the meal. She adds that Akito has helped her with many things, and he humbly agrees. Wanyuman thoughtfully notes that Olivia seems like a very quick and capable learner. Olivia compliments Wanyuman's amazing sword skills, causing the samurai to blush with embarrassment. His pride wounded, Wanyuman snaps at Akito, refusing to be praised by him. He angrily demands a rematch, much to Akito's weary confusion. Akito calmly refuses, stating that he won't participate in such a pointless, childish fight. As they argue, Tama waves his paws, frantically trying to get them to calm down. The small cat turns with a worried expression, asking Olivia what is the matter. Olivia, her face hidden by shadows, weakly insists that it is nothing to worry about. She suddenly collapses, and both Akito and Wanyuman cry out, asking if she's all right. She falls unconscious to the ground as her friends rush toward her in a panic. They gently carry her into the tent, where Tama begins to examine her. Akito quickly fetches one of their pots, filling it with cool, fresh water. He carries the pot of water back to the campsite, his expression grim. Kneeling by the tent, he asks Tama for a diagnosis, learning she has a high fever. Wanyuman asks if Tama knows the cause, and Butchie confirms he's their best healer. A close-up reveals Olivia's feverish face, slick with sweat as she sleeps fitfully. Akito gazes at her, his own face a mask of deep worry and concern. Tama concludes she is exhausted from the unfamiliar land and must be cooled down. Akito brings the water, and Tama thanks him as he prepares a compress for her. A wave of guilt washes over Akito, knowing his skills protected him but not her. He gently places his hand on her forehead, a desperate idea suddenly occurring to him. He channels his energy, attempting to use his foundations of recovery magic skill. Olivia's brow furrows in pain as she lets out a weak, rattling cough. Her eyes flutter open, and Akito leans in, anxiously asking if she is awake. He apologizes for not noticing her suffering, but she says she feels slightly better now. With her eyes closed, she weakly tells him not to worry about her. A violent coughing fit suddenly racks her body, shocking everyone around her. Akito realizes with horror that his magic is too weak and her condition is worsening. Wanyuman asks if they have medicine for humans, but Tama is unsure if theirs will work. Tama's eyes widen in recollection. He knows of a panacea ingredient at the lake's bottom. Akito's head snaps around, his eyes wide with renewed hope as he asks about the cure. Butchie explains the lake is dangerous, with a deep trench the Minayan always avoid. Akito, his face set with determination, declares that he will go retrieve the ingredient. A tense silence falls as Wanyuman and Akito stare at each other. Wanyuman protests, insisting that such a dangerous place is no place for him. Akito reassures him, explaining that he has skills that will keep him safe. His voice rings with passion as he says that, above all else, he must save Olivia. He is filled with regret, believing that if he had been more careful, this wouldn't have happened. He declares that even with the danger, if there is a chance, he will take it. Butchie and Tama look on, their expressions filled with awe at Akito's resolve. Wanyuman looks at Akito, a silent, grudging respect passing between them. At the edge of the vast, forested lake, Wanyuman proposes a contest. The two rivals stand ready, a tense energy crackling in the air between them. Akito stares at him, completely baffled as to why he would suggest a contest now. He insists that he is being completely serious about wanting to help Olivia. Wanyuman declares that he is serious as well, as Olivia was a kind benefactor. He states that he cannot trust a weakling who is unable to protect her. He challenges Akito to prove his worth by winning, then dives into the water. Wanyuman surfaces with a gasp, shouting that this will be an easy victory for him. Akito quickly sheds his jacket, muttering about the absurdity of the situation. He steps to the water's edge, his bare foot touching the cool, dark surface. With a determined splash, he dives in, his only thought to save Olivia. He swims onward, remembering Tama's words about the strangely colored plants in the deep. He pushes through the water, his face a mask of grim, focused determination. Suddenly, an unseen force pulls him down, much to Wanyuman's utter surprise. A powerful, invisible grip closes around his ankle, yanking him into the depths. He is dragged helplessly down into the dark water by the mysterious current. Wanyuman and Akito both break the surface, sputtering and gasping for air. Wanyuman asks what's wrong, and Akito explains he was suddenly pulled from below. Akito clarifies that it felt less like being grabbed and more like being sucked in. A faint glimmer of light appears in the dark, murky water below them. Wanyuman's eyes narrow as he senses a deep, dangerous presence lurking below. Two pairs of glowing, malevolent eyes stare up at them from the darkness. A large bubble breaks the surface, heralding something massive rising from the bottom. Akito peers into the water, realizing with a jolt that something is down there. He and Wanyuman stare into the depths, wondering what kind of creature lies beneath. Wanyuman tells him to stop dawdling and dive again, but Akito protests. As Akito prepares to dive, Wanyuman shouts that it's too dangerous to be careless. A long, slimy tentacle shoots from the water, wrapping tightly around Akito's ankle. He vanishes beneath the surface with a loud splash, much to Wanyuman's shock. Wanyuman cries out Akito's name as he is violently dragged into the abyss. Underwater, Akito realizes with dawning horror that something has hold of his leg. He is pulled through the water by a powerful, unseen current. He sees his attackers, a giant lobster and a monstrous, whiskered catfish. His eyes widen in sheer terror as he realizes he faces two monsters. The giant catfish begins to create a powerful whirlpool, sucking him in. He is being drawn inexorably into the creature's massive, gaping maw. The lobster's huge claw snaps shut just inches away from his body. He narrowly avoids the deadly pincer, his heart pounding with adrenaline and fear. His eyes catch a soft glimmer of light on the lake bed below him. He sees it, a small patch of glowing aquatic plants, the herb he seeks. He realizes that the glowing plant must be the ingredient for the panacea. He is trapped, ensnared by the catfish's long, powerful whisker. He knows he has to cut the whisker to have any chance of escaping. The pressure builds in his lungs as his breath begins to run out. He struggles to move, his body sluggish and unresponsive in the cold water. As his last bubble of air escapes, he believes he is done for. A flash of silver cuts through the water as Wanyuman's katana severs the whisker. Wanyuman swims past at incredible speed, coming to Akito's rescue. The samurai grabs Akito, pulling him swiftly towards the surface and precious air. They collapse onto the rocky shore, water streaming from their exhausted bodies. Akito and Wanyuman lie on the ground, panting and recovering from their ordeal. Akito thanks Wanyuman, who gruffly dismisses it, saying it was nothing to worry about. Akito rushes to Wanyuman's side, asking the sputtering samurai if he is all right. The proud samurai, blushing slightly, declares that he has now repaid his debt. Akito is deeply moved by his words, whispering the wolf samurai's name in gratitude. Overcome with relief, Akito clings to Wanyuman, joyfully calling him his savior. Wanyuman insists it is more efficient for him to go alone, calling Akito a small fry. Akito argues back, saying it's reckless to face two monsters who fight as a team. For Olivia's sake, Wanyuman will not fail. Akito insists they still need a plan. Akito holds up a hand, telling him to wait, as fighting underwater is too disadvantageous. As Wanyuman urges him to hurry, Akito desperately searches his skills for a solution. He finds it, declaring he wasn't just lazing about as he selects a new skill. With newfound resolve, Akito announces his new skill and proposes they fight together for Olivia. Wanyuman is completely bewildered by this sudden and unexpected proposal for a team-up. Akito confirms he got the skill and says he will use it on Wanyuman, too. He explains the skill lets them breathe for 8 minutes and move freely for 4. He asks Wanyuman to combine their strengths to defeat the monsters for Olivia's sake. Wanyuman gives a look of stern, reluctant agreement to the daring plan. Akito cheers, vowing not to drown this time as they prepare to dive. With a great splash, the two unlikely allies plunge back into the dark lake. Submerged, Akito is amazed. He can breathe easily and is no longer struggling. He marvels at how well he can move, telling Wanyuman the skill is incredible. They face the two looming monsters in the depths, ready for the underwater battle. The lobster creature lunges forward, its massive pincer snapping shut with lethal force. Wanyuman intercepts it, declaring that he will be the monster's opponent. The giant catfish whips its long, powerful whiskers through the murky water. Akito shouts a warning as Wanyuman dodges the lightning-fast attack. The catfish monster stares them down, its long whiskers swirling menacingly. Akito realizes the whiskers regenerate when cut, and their time is running out. He looks at the glowing herb, so close yet so far out of reach. Wanyuman tells Akito he will be the decoy, while Akito retrieves the precious herb. Akito knows they only have a few minutes left. He must do something now. He realizes the creature's long whiskers are the main obstacle in their fight. A brilliant, if strange, idea strikes him. He is a professional at preparation. The catfish's whiskers lash out, ensnaring Wanyuman's arms and sword. Wanyuman grunts that it's an opening, but Akito tells him to wait and not cut them. Akito sees how the whiskers are tangling and again tells the samurai to wait. He apologizes to Wanyuman, asking him to just hang on a little longer. With fierce determination, Akito grabs the monster's writhing whiskers with his bare hands. He pulls the giant catfish off balance, using its own momentum against it. With incredible speed, he begins to loop and twist the creature's long whiskers. Wanyuman struggles to stay upright as he is caught in the middle of the maneuver. Akito works frantically, his mind focused on completing his task before their time runs out. The lobster monster rushes in, adding to the chaos of the underwater struggle. The pro at prep work expertly ties both monsters together in a perfect bow. With the creatures neutralized, Akito snatches the glowing panacea herb from the lake bed. Wanyuman, finally freed, quickly kicks his way toward the surface. Akito follows close behind, rushing upwards through the water with all his might. They break the surface, gasping for air, having miraculously survived the ordeal. Exhausted, they lie on the rocky shore, victorious against the lake's guardians. Akito clutches the herb, his only thought to get it to Olivia as fast as possible. Back at the camp, a quiet stillness hangs over the tent where Olivia rests. The precious herbs are quickly ground into a fine paste in a stone bowl. Olivia lies still and pale, her life depending on the medicine being prepared. Suddenly, the camp erupts in cheers. She is woken up, and the medicine worked. Wanyuman rushes to her side, his voice full of concern for Lady Olivia. Weak but lucid, Olivia thanks him for his worry. Her eyes search past him, her voice a whisper as she asks for Akito. Akito bursts into the tent, overjoyed to see that she is finally awake. He smiles with pure relief, so happy that the medicine was effective. Olivia returns his smile, softly reassuring him that she is all right now. He gently tells her to rest and not move yet, and she quietly agrees. Wanyuman watches the two of them, a quiet and thoughtful expression on his face. He observes her smile, recognizing it as a sign of her complete trust in Akito. Akito praises Wanyuman, saying he was amazing and cool facing the monsters. Olivia agrees, saying she's glad he was there, as Akito couldn't have done alone. Wanyuman awkwardly deflects the praise, saying Akito handled the monsters. Akito gives the flustered samurai a knowing, slightly teasing grin. Wanyuman puffs out his cheeks, annoyed by Akito's smug look. He vows to never forget the disgrace, while Akito laughs and apologizes. Wanyuman grumbles about his unreliable master, and Butchie surprisingly agrees with him. The samurai concedes that it's a fact Akito helped, admitting he was useful. Akito is touched by this admission, his eyes shining with gratitude. The Minayan swarm them, telling them to stop their bickering and just be friends. A peaceful scene unfolds at the campsite, with soft particles drifting through the air. Akito holds a bowl of oranges, thinking he could make juice for Olivia. The Minayan thank him for sharing, saying that getting vitamins is a good thing. Akito reflects that while he wants her to recover, food alone isn't enough. He recalls the storm and her fever, realizing their tent life is too unstable. He resolves to do whatever he can to send Olivia home healthy and strong. The Minayan notices his pensive mood and asks him what is wrong. Akito stands with his back to them, his mind made up. He turns dramatically, declaring that he has decided to upgrade their tent. A scene from another story is shown. A scene from another story is shown. A scene from another story is shown. Akito thinks to himself that if he improves their living environment, he can better care for Olivia, who is shown resting. He announces his plan to upgrade the tent to prevent illness and handle bad weather. His friends are completely stunned by this sudden and grand declaration. He points to the woodpile, saying they will use the logs Olivia prepared. The Minayan asks if he can really build a disaster-proof house. Akito looks at the logs, suddenly doubting his own ability to build a house. He checks his skills, but the Minayan express their doubt in him. He decides he has no choice but to ask a professional for assistance. A view of the lush, sun-dappled forest canopy. A new, female Minayan appears, sweetly offering to help their savior. Akito is instantly charmed, asking if the cute newcomer is a professional architect. The Minayan, whose name is Marin, says no, holding a small mallet. A strange, intense aura begins to emanate from her, shocking Aikido. She transforms into a foreman, shouting orders to build the best house. But she explains that Marin's personality changes when she holds a tool. Aikido, smiling brightly, rolls up his sleeves, eager to help Wanyuman. Wanyuman groans, staggering under the immense weight of a thick log. Aikido rushes to help, but their clumsy teamwork nearly causes a disaster. Wanyuman snaps in pain, angrily calling the stumbling Aikido a klutz. A new cat appears, Foreman Marin, who sternly orders them out of the way. Dejected, Aikido and Wanyuman walk away, having been scolded for their efforts. Wanyuman fumes, frustrated that he couldn't prove his usefulness to Lady Olivia. Aikido suddenly remembers, realizing today is the day for his point roulette. He spins the wheel, landing a jackpot of 32, bringing his total to 39 points. His level up also unlocked a new tent pitching skill and its various sub-skills. He's most excited about the new gold tier for his food gacha. Wanyuman finds Aikido's muttering creepy, prompting a quick apology from the camper. Aikido explains his plan to throw a party to celebrate Olivia's recovery. He thinks to himself, hoping she gets well and finds her happiness again. Wanyuman watches him with a serious, unreadable expression. The samurai asks if Aikido truly intends to live on the island with Olivia. Aikido quietly confirms that Olivia will be returning to her country alone. Wanyuman demands to know why he won't go with her, but Aikido demurs. With a searching gaze, Wanyuman asks if Aikido is really okay with that. Aikido admits it's lonely, but her happiness is what matters most. He resolves to fill their remaining time with as many happy memories as possible. Wanyuman is left speechless by this display of selfless devotion. He grumbles that he doesn't understand humans, much to Aikido's confusion. Suddenly, Butchie's voice rings out from the trees, calling Aikido's name. Butchie runs up, explaining that Marin is in trouble and needs Aikido's help. The scene shows the large, half-finished frame of the new log cabin. Marin explains that she miscalculated and they don't have enough lumber. Aikido looks concerned, wondering how they will solve this major problem. He steals his resolve as the Minayan agree to call for more help. A Minayan struggles, barely able to lift the heavy mallet to drive a stake. Watching their difficulty, Aikido is suddenly struck by a brilliant idea. He remembers his tent-pitching skill has a stake-driving supportability. He takes the mallet from the cats, saying he will give it a try. With a firm grip, Aikido raises the heavy tool high above his head. He combines his skill with body-strengthening magic for a mighty swing. The stake is driven deep into the earth with a single, powerful blow. The Minayan cheer for their savior, amazed by his incredible strength. The cats remark how much faster the work will go now, despite Aikido's goofiness. Wanyuman tries to act cool, muttering that this is expected of his rival. Aikido then calls to the samurai, saying he has a favor only he can do. Wanyuman puffs out his chest, pretending to be reluctant to help. Aikido stands before a massive tree, explaining their need for more wood. Before Aikido can swing his axe, Wanyuman draws his sword in a flash. With a single, elegant slash, the samurai's attack fells the giant tree. The massive tree groans as it begins to topple to the forest floor. Aikido formally requests Wanyuman's aid, and the samurai accepts with a roar. Wanyuman becomes a blur of motion, his swordsmanship a sight to behold. The felled tree now lies on the ground, a new supply of lumber ready. The Minayan are in awe, while Wanyuman coolly claims it was nothing. Marin, watching the display of power, feels her own spirit ignite. She rallies the troops, declaring they will finish the cabin in one go. The entire crew works in perfect harmony, constructing the house with renewed vigor. Later, the team enjoys a well-deserved meal break together. The sun sets, and night falls over the dark forest. The camera focuses on the tent where Olivia has been resting. Inside, Olivia begins to awaken, stretching her arms above her head. She sits up, groggily wondering how long she has been asleep. She has vague, dreamlike memories of being cared for while she was ill. Hearing a noise outside, she pushes open the tent flap to investigate. Before her stands a magnificent log cabin, surrounded by celebrating Minayan. She stares in utter shock, unable to comprehend what she is seeing. Tama cheerfully greets her, asking if she is feeling better now. The other cats gather, happy she's awake and can enjoy her new home. They explain that Akito orchestrated the entire construction project for her. Olivia is overwhelmed with emotion, her hands flying to her mouth. Her touching moment is interrupted as she spots something strange. She points to two crude wooden totems of her and Akito, the saviors. The Minayan insist the totems are the most important part of the house. Akito rushes to Olivia's side, asking if she is feeling all right. He gently tells her not to push herself, and she meekly agrees. With tears in her eyes, she asks how she can possibly thank him. He brushes it off with a smile, telling her just to rest for now. He reassures her the cabin has 2 rooms, so she can have her privacy. He offers to move the statues, but the Minayan loudly protest the idea. A cat declares they must not be disrespectful to their saviors. The absurdity of it all causes Olivia to let out a small, amused giggle. Overcome with emotion, she gives him a tearful, heartfelt thank you. She beams, declaring that meeting them all has brought her true happiness. Akito and the others are visibly moved by her sincere gratitude. The Minayan erupt in cheers, officially declaring it time for a party. Akito watches Olivia, a soft, peaceful expression on his face. He enthusiastically agrees, promising a grand barbecue on the beach. Olivia offers to help, and Akito thanks her but reminds her to rest. He decides it's the perfect occasion to use his new gold gacha. He taps the gold button, praying for a good result. A luxurious wine and appetizer set materializes before him. Akito shouts in triumph, declaring it a direct hit. Toby the sea lion arrives with a gift of fresh fish for the party. Olivia, her hair in pigtails, proudly presents a perfectly grilled fish skewer. The entire group gathers, sharing food and laughter around the fire. Olivia smiles brightly, saying how wonderful it is to eat with everyone. Akito agrees, glad to see her so happy and full of life. He thinks back on their time together, on her journey back to happiness. He silently wishes that they could stay together on the island forever. The gentle sound of waves crashing on the shore fills the air. Far out at sea, a lone ship sails across the horizon. A large, regal vessel cuts through the waves, drawing closer to the island. On deck, Prince Nissel asks a soldier for a report on their search. He stares at the distant island, vowing that he will find Olivia. With a possessive smile, he declares that he is coming for his bride. A grand, multi-masted ship cuts through the waves, making its way toward the island. From the ship's deck, a sailor uses his spyglass to scan the distant, jungle-covered shoreline. His view reveals 2 monstrous, multi-eyed canine beasts lurking ominously in the undergrowth. Perched high in the crow's nest, the sailor shouts a frantic warning about the numerous monsters. Prince Nissel asks for a status update, learning no signs of human life can be found. The prince immediately cancels the landing, ordering the ship to proceed to the next island. A subordinate informs His Highness that the journey to the next island will take several days. Nissel finds the delay vexing, though he maintains his belief that Olivia is safe. He clenches his fist tightly, imagining the terrible ordeal a weak girl must be enduring alone. Clutching his chest in a dramatic flourish, he is certain she is waiting for his rescue. He bellows across the waves that Lady Olivia must wait, for the hero Nissel is coming. The grand ship turns and sails away, leaving a monster-filled island in its wake. Back on the island, a beaming Olivia happily offers the mean 9 seconds on ice cream. An excited crowd of cats cheers and eagerly forms a line for another delicious serving. Akito reminds Olivia to eat too, but she sweetly insists on taking care of the serving. He smiles warmly, taking the bowl from her so she can finally enjoy the treat herself. Olivia watches with a fond expression as Akito shares ice cream with the happy Minayan. She holds her own bowl, a pensive and thoughtful look crossing her delicate features. The scene is one of perfect peace, set in the clearing by their new log cabin. The Minayan cats chatter with pure delight, enjoying their very first taste of ice cream. Butchie, noticing Olivia's quiet mood, comes over to ask what is on her mind. Akito smiles, content that everyone is able to share this wonderful, happy moment together. Olivia reflects on how much she has relied on Akito's help since arriving on the island. Butchie suggests that if she wants to show her gratitude, a present would be a fine idea. Her eyes widen and sparkle at the wonderful thought of finding a gift for Akito. A cheerful Wanyuman appears, offering Olivia a bottle and encouraging her to drink. Olivia happily accepts, telling the samurai that tonight they can dispense with all formalities. Akito watches from a short distance, pleased to see Olivia looking so happy and carefree. He stretches his arms toward the heavens, remarking on the supreme beauty of the night sky. He reminisces about his entire journey, from meeting Olivia to battling monstrous creatures. He smiles to himself, thinking about how his friendship with Olivia has steadily grown closer. He realizes the reason he's had so much fun is because Olivia has been there with him. A heartfelt wish forms in his mind, for this peaceful time to last just a bit longer. His pleasant thoughts are suddenly shattered by an unexpected sound from behind him. He looks up in shock as the very trees and rocks seem to vanish in a flash. He whips around in terror, his heart pounding as he wonders what is happening. An unsteady, swaying Olivia stumbles toward him, calling his name in a drunken slur. With a huge, flushed grin, she insists that it is now Akito's turn to drink. Akito asks Wanyuman if she is drunk, and the samurai confirms that she certainly is. Olivia pouts, asking with feigned sadness why Akito won't drink the sake she offers him. Declaring that his refusal makes her sad, a brilliant, overwhelming light erupts from her. The scene transitions, indicating that a few days have passed in the tranquil forest. The Minayan cats cheerfully greet Akito, complimenting the spaciousness of his new room. They peek around the corner of the doorway, surprised to see that he is finally awake. Olivia explains that he has been asleep for 2 days, nursed by the Minayan all night. Wanyuman sternly advises Akito that, in the future, Lady Olivia should not be allowed to drink. Inside the cabin's cozy kitchen, a pot of something delicious bubbles over the fire. A seated Wanyuman impatiently asks Akito if the food is ready to eat yet. Akito serves the meal, teasing that Wanyuman still refuses to acknowledge his cooking skills. Wanyuman grumbles that today is just an exception, as Olivia suggests they should go out. She shyly asks if, perhaps, they could all go back to the cave together. Akito's face lights up, agreeing that returning to the cave is an excellent idea. Olivia cheers in victory, while Wanyuman gruffly tells Akito to at least help out. Olivia thinks to herself that the cave might hold the perfect present for Akito. They arrive at the dark entrance, and Akito wonders aloud about the strange cat statue. Wanyuman barks at him for being distracted by a mere bronze statue instead of the cave. Akito turns to Olivia, noticing that she seems to be lost in thought and unresponsive. She snaps out of her daze, declaring with renewed vigor that they should press onward. Akito watches her with a knowing smile, understanding what he needs to do to help. He thinks about the camper points that he has been diligently saving for several days. 3 powerful, modern headlamps materialize in a flash, purchased with his save points. Olivia and Wanyuman are amazed by the lights that can be worn on their heads. Akito also decides to spend some points to acquire a useful new skill for their trip. Olivia, now fearless and bold, ties on a bandana and rallies a nervous-looking Akito. He watches her boundless energy, noting to himself that she is in high spirits today. He cautions her not to stray too far, since they don't know what dangers lie ahead. Wanyuman cheekily suggests that it would be better if Akito were the one to get trapped first. Olivia scans the cavern walls, her mind focused on finding a suitable present for Akito. She wants to find something special he'll like, even if she doesn't know his tastes. The cat statue sign warns them that they are now entering the dangerous level 3 area. Akito grips his axe tightly, reminding the others to stay sharp, as monsters will appear. Olivia's eyes catch a faint, beautiful glimmer high up on a dark cavern ledge. She begins to carefully climb the rough rock face to investigate the source of the light. Her face lights up with delight as she discovers a pristine, perfectly formed crystal. She holds the single, beautiful magic stone, admiring its gentle and captivating color. She smiles, thinking to herself that this beautiful stone would look wonderful on Akito. Unseen by her, a dark and menacing presence begins to loom from the shadows above. From the cavern floor, Akito spots her on the high ledge and calls out her name. His expression instantly shifts from casual concern to one of pure, abject terror. A monstrous skeletal spider descends from the ceiling, directly above the unsuspecting Olivia. She turns at the sound of his scream, her face a mask of shock at the horror. Akito's eyes widen as his unique skills begin to rapidly analyze the monstrous foe. His skills identify it as a corpse aggregate, held together by vulnerable threads. He instantly sees the path to victory, shouting for Wanyuman to cut the creature's threads. Wanyuman roars, activating his skill and teasing Akito for finally acting tough. The wolf samurai leaps forward, commanding Olivia to get down as he engages the beast. His katana becomes a silver blur, a whirlwind of steel slicing through the monster's ligaments. From a ledge, Olivia shouts a warning to Akito that the monster's core is falling. Akito acknowledges her warning, activating his own body-strengthening skill for the final blow. He leaps into the air, his heavy axe poised for a powerful, cleaving downward strike. The axe connects with a deafening crack, shattering the creature's skeletal core into pieces. As the dust settles from the impact, Wanyuman calls out Olivia's name in concern. Olivia stumbles backward from the shockwave, colliding directly with the landing Akito. Their heads knock together, and Akito, ever concerned, immediately asks if she is all right. Their headlamps shine directly into each other's faces, momentarily blinding them both. The accidental collision has shattered a nearby rock wall, revealing something new behind it. Akito's skill identifies the massive pink vein as a rare and delicious rock salt. He celebrates their find, excited about all the delicious new dishes he can now prepare. Wanyuman looks over, asking what Akito is holding while happily chewing on a spider bone. Olivia looks downcast, her hands clasped tightly, still feeling as though she is a burden. Olivia looks downcast, apologizing for having caused them so much trouble. Akito thrusts his hand forward, ready to use his newly acquired skill. He proudly summons a dimensional storage portal, urging them to fill it. They cheerfully load the portal, Akito noting its convenience for heavy salt. With their treasure secured, Tama suggests they exit the cave for a rest. The triumphant group emerges, Olivia praising Wanyuman on their successful haul. A panicked Butchie rushes towards them, shouting that something terrible has happened. With a look of terror, Butchie announces that a human ship has arrived. They look at each other in shock, realizing their fun time is over.